a fire in love.
powered by the highest performance game engine on mobile, leveraging years of experience building the largest international competitive mobile esport, harnessing extraordinary community anticipation. This February, Super Evil Megacorp will unleash the category-defining 5v5 battle arena for mobile. The first and only true 5v5 MOBA on the mobile platform, featuring graphics that put the copycats to shame, rendered at a smooth, flawless 120 frames per second. A simple-to-start, highly accessible experience that matches or outperforms PC and console counterparts in every way, with ultra-precise, intuitive touch controls that make a MOBA feel like magic. Nothing diluted, nothing dumbed down, delivering through original and creative hero design, level design, item design, and objective design, the immense depth, skill, and complexity that a legitimate 5v5 MOBA should offer. Outplay and outthink your opponent like no other game. Superior gameplay and graphics, the most accurate and responsive controls, deep, original fantasy storytelling, and unparalleled technical excellence with the platform-leading proprietary game engine and the highest frame rates. Super Evil Megacorp's Vainglory 5v5 sets the new bar for mobile gaming. Never settle for the lesser evil.
Hello ladies and gents, boys and girls, welcome back to the show matches from Southeast Asia. We're here for day 2 of week 1 and joining me, Minimiter, we have got our Quest to Jewel.
Hello, and as you said, we're back, day 2, more action of these pro teams playing it out on the new Sovereign's Rise map in 5v5. And we'll just jump right into it, let the people know what they've come here to see, because first off, we're going to actually see Bren Esports and Elite 8 playing for the first time on the 5v5 map. Perhaps not their first time playing, you would hope. They'd have practice prior to this, but the first time that we'll be able to broadcast their matchup. And then, for Game 2, we will see Renegades going up against Boom ID, which we actually saw both of those teams play off yesterday. And to end it out, Elite 8 will play once again, this time going up against Impunity. So some exciting matches today, and hopefully we'll get some good action on the Rise.
Yeah, yesterday we saw a dominant performance from Team Renegades, winning both of their games in under 16 minutes, which is a very quick 5 versus 5 game. And we saw Impunity win in similar fashion, taking slightly longer for their games. So I'm really excited to see what's going to happen, whether Elite 8 can take a win against Impunity, because they looked really strong yesterday, as did Renegades. We've definitely got some exciting games. But the first one is Bren Esports up against Elite 8. And so I'll just run through the players on each of the teams. Starting up, we've got Spitfire on Pablo Escobar, Mr. Jim, Guessing X, and Neoncy playing for Bren Esports. And for Elite 8, we're going to have Hunyegers, Redemption, Anime Save Me, Creation X Run, and Now. So some new names that you may not have heard of before.
Yeah, some new names, but also some common names coming through there. Of course, a lot of the teams had to extend their rosters to make way for this 5v5 game mode. Some of the teams did have their reserve players that they were able to bring them on board and then adapt to 5v5, but that's another point of interest there with these teams. How well can they adapt to the 5v5 situation? You've got to have that much more teamwork with that much more people on your team in the map. And you talked about yesterday importance of shot callers needed to really make those decisions, make those rotations. And I think when we look at a team like Renegades, they're definitely a good example of what to follow for 5v5 standard.
Yeah, if you're not quite sure what to do in the map, have a look at Renegades playing. They played yesterday, they're playing again today because they know what to do, they know where to be at what time. And one thing that you'll notice is even if they're not winning in terms of fights or 1v1s or lane pressure, they'll maybe have a turret on you just because they pushed the wave at the right time and then forced you to commit too many players to maybe defending a weapon tree. And one thing we see an awful lot is teams coming in being very aggressive, having 4 or 5 of their teammates just to try and steal away one crystal tree and crystal buff camp from the enemy team. And that's probably not worth it because while you're doing that, the other team is just clearing some farm, going to lane and pushing the lanes, and then you realise you put yourself in a bad position right from the start.
Yeah, but with that said, we will have to see what Bren Esports and Elite 8 are going to bring to the table. Both very good competitive teams in the prior season for VG8, and I'm just excited to really see what they're going to do here. If they have what it takes to really go up against, as what we've seen, Renegades and Impunity at the moment being considered the top 2 teams in Southeast Asia, and they continue that on into 5v5. We'll get the chance at the end of the day to see Elite 8 go up against Impunity, but I think in terms of this first matchup that we have, Bren Esports and Elite 8 going at it, it's really going to be a close one.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be close. I think Elite 8 are going to be the favourites. Obviously, they made it to Worlds last year, but I don't know how strong their another 2 members are going to be, because obviously having 3 players working together is a lot easier than having 5 players work together, and so you've got to bring them in, they've got to be comfortable, you've got to know what they're doing, and so I think Bren Esports will feel that they can maybe take a game off Elite 8, but maybe even take 2. We really don't know how strong these 2 teams are going to be in relation to each other, but we've just got to hope it's going to be a close game. I've got a feeling there'll be at least one dragon unleashed on either side, and I really think the teams will know what they need to focus on, know that they need to focus on lanes as a priority, and the jungles may become a bit of less priority, because if you can get those turrets, once you push down the turrets, you're pretty much going to take the game. But the first game is now loading, and so casting this game, we are going to bring in once again Azurai and also the birthday girl Riku.
Wow, thanks for the introduction again, Minimiter and I Requested Duel. So yeah, we would just like to reintroduce ourselves, guys. My name is Azurai. Of course, here with me now is...
Yes, this is Riku. Thank you very much for the greeting. I'm super duper hyped to cast 5v5 for the first time. And again, this is going to be the first time we'll be seeing Bren Esports versus Elite 8 duke it out here at Sovereign's Rise. And I'm quite excited to see what kind of things they're going to be bringing out on the table, as, again, this is, you know, a lot to learn, a lot to absorb, for as there's a lot added onto the map here for 5v5.
Yeah, there was like a lot of discussion, I think, yesterday as well, wherein we were talking about which teams, or at least Renegades is the team to be known as the team that has the most exposure already in 5v5, since I think they got the earliest of the early access, so to speak, and because of that, you know, I think that gave them an edge here. But these are different teams, Elite 8 and Bren Esports. Bren Esports has players coming from, I believe, Philippines and Cambodia, while Elite 8 an all Indonesian team. So it seems like we're not going to go for that start that they were talking about, which is, you know, the jungle invade. It seems a little bit too, I guess, like Minimiter said, not worth, not value.
Yeah, it's a little bit too risky, as you're going to be losing quite a few farm, but looks like they're going to be poking up at this moment.
Yeah, a little bit of damage onto the Churnwalker, but that's fine. Hunjagers is the carry to get all the farm, and Churnwalker should be able to just, well, walk away.
Exactly. We were talking about how a certain composition works when we do, or when a certain team does level 1 invades. Are they prepared to defend? Are they prepared to make a pick, run away, and stuff like that? But in the meantime, they're going to be playing it safe for now. But as we draw closer, we're going to be seeing this Black Feather, and we see the Crawl as well, lurking around at the enemy jungle side. And we'll see that they have no idea this is going on. So it's really the early game rotations that I'm most interested about, as there are a ton of ward placements. You can see like they're forming a little bit of triangle there for the scout camps. over there, and they spot him out.
He's gonna try to run away. Does have the movement speed, I believe, from the passive as well as that. The downward flow of the river. Going to be spotting out Redemption here. 1v1 situation. Glaive trying to get away, but the Spectral Smite too good after burns over the wall, but does take quite a bit of damage here. Jim will actually be trying to follow up on him. Underneath the turret, does activate the flash, but this might be a little bit too greedy for them, and Sing could be first blood. Nice timing on that flash, but it's not really going to be enough. Mr. Jim here might be another casualty of war as he gets the fortress and could even go for a second one. This is the strength of the Black Feather that we were talking about, from yesterday's matches, and it is showing a little bit again here in this early game.
Exactly, and it worked out really well for them. He enters with the afterburn once again just to try out the damage, poke out the turret hit, and he walks onto an auto. Painful right there. Unfortunate. How unfortunate.
Oh, a little bit unfortunate as well in the mid. Spitfire not really able to actually win out against the Vox. I think it's just because even though Catherine does have the single target tap disabled, Vox does have enough mobility to get out of that. Reza also has a dash, but still not good enough, I think, to reach the Vox, especially when Chernwalker can just, slow you down and pull you away. So it gives the Vox time to, just damage your opponents in the mid.
Exactly. So it's all about positioning, kiting wisely here, as we're going to be seeing, we've been talking about, reading a bunch of other information, how the start normally that the junglers are going to be at the mid side, as you want to protect your buffs at this point. But again, we're 4 minutes in, someone died, Krull eliminated Fortress right there at, I believe, the bot side of the map, but we're not quite sure what happened there. But again, here comes Glaive, just trying to spot out and rotate here towards the mid side of the map, knowing the fact that that's one out of the table from the opposite side, which is Bren Esports.
Well, Ward will spot them actually invading on the top side jungle, so the Reza Spitfire here should know that he is somewhere near the very Redemption. If he can go for the punish, can really get some damage and drops the scout camp. He knows what's up. Redemption takes quite a bit of damage, but Spitfire with the fancy footwork gets some help from Pablo Escobar here, as well as guessing, and they'll be able to shut him down for the meantime. Krull will be trying to find a target there, but without his ultimate, without from the form Hell's Heart, it's not really gonna matter. No form of true initiation for these trio, but they do get that one kill. River Shop will arrive as we do get that 5-minute mark in the game.
That was actually a very interesting rotation from Redemption, as I think he knows that there's a scout cam already by the mid side of the map, so he took the long route just so that it makes sure that maybe he won't get spotted out. But then again, really good scout cam locations or placements, but in the meantime, there's going to be a fight here at the bot side of the map, and looks like they will disengage for now.
So I was kind of talking about what the power of the ball can actually give to this, because there's so many more objectives, but I guess his gagging potential just shows in. But Redemption though might find Mr. Jim. Oh, it's very close. Goodness that his flash was actually on cooldown. And that after that kill in the bottom lane, it's gonna be a turret for the side of Bren Esports here.
Bren Esports, really good rotations, and we saw how, Redemption wanted to proactively make something happen in the mid lane, but then, hold on, Petal might be in trouble here. I don't think the Flash gonna help you, and at this point, it's gonna be in... Looks like it's fine. She's fine.
It worked out. Okay, so now, a little bit of a tussle in the mid side. Nice pushback on... Not gonna allow him to find any opening here. Not yet level 6, so no use on that Blast Tremor. Now, Cherdwalker, Creation X1 is gonna be looking for some hooks right here, but for the meantime, at least for now, he's not going to be able to find. Drops the scout camp, so he's going to have at least some vision right there. But my goodness, got to give some credit here to Guessing. He has been adamant with his ganking in the jungle, even gets the weapon tree, and could even transition into... Oh, I think he got it. Oh, he got it. Could even get the kill here onto Redemption, but he actually activate the flask and able to schedule his way on out there. Transitioning to the mid, looks like there's going to be a 4-man rotation from Elite 8, but Pablo Escobar is in good shape right there. Spitfire trying to go back, but this One more. Oh, so close.
So close. That is true. But meanwhile, Redemption might be in big trouble here as the Ringo 9C is chasing him down. Boom. And you're dead. Alright, so Bren Esports, the fight's not over, Asarai.
Never gonna be over. Seems like now we'll try to go for but from Hell's Heart to your face. This a little bit literal face stunned, face palmed.
That was really dangerous. They already lost, a member, and then they entered a fight without, being prepared for it. But then again, it is all because of Bren Esports' rotations. It's very overwhelming for the side of Elite 8, and I do understand what's going on right now as they keep pushing with their lead. They know that they have the right amount of damage to take on these early fights, and because of the pressure that Bren Esports is putting around the map, it just forces Elite 8 to keep responding, and they're not able to focus on trying to ramp up their damage and find these opportunities. We've seen Redemption try to do the after-during plays and try to make a pick and maybe eventually move to an objective, but at this point that is Ghost Wing on the table. That's more pressure, but we'll see though, because a lot of members from Bren Esports super low, and that's the punishment that you're gonna get.
Oh my goodness, they even got the steal. So this is at least a little bit of the comeback plays coming out from Elite 8. They're gonna go aggressive, activates the pack attack, will chase down onto the Black Feather. Does he have his Rose offensive to get on out of there? Looks like that's gonna be a no. There's 4 members here. Oh, nice hook in from the Churnwalker. No escape, no surrender, no mercy for the side of Elite 8. And this is actually what I wanted to iterate before, since there's that Spectral Spike mechanic for Krull. Is he gonna be good at getting early Ghost Wing or Black Claw here in Sovereign Rise? And seems like I think Bren Esports had the same mindset, but it didn't work out well for them.
Exactly. Yep. Churnwalker pull in. Looks like the Reza is fine. Shutdown's what's gonna happen from another side of the map, I believe. But going back to what happened there, they only invested 2 members for the Ghost Wing, and I believe it's one of the it missed, but it's gonna be fine.
It's gonna be fine. Gonna go for the chase. Han Jaeger's gonna be in a bad spot right here. Auto attacks, but he's able to use that move to actually get some distance from the Krull as well as that dash from the box. So it's only gonna be a-okay. Great mate, and this mid-tier 1 should be going down. Pablo Escobar will say something otherwise from that one. And as the Ringo does come into the mix as well, it seems like they're just gonna be exiting out for the meantime. Mr. Jim wants some blood right here. Is actually charged right in. Since that mid-tier 1 is out of the equation, he'll have something to make things happen, but it's really not gonna matter as Elite 8 were ready, primed and readied, trap set and done, and they get themselves 3 kills. Mid-tier 1 could even go for the mid-tier 2.
They keep entering, Bren Esports keep fighting fights that they're not prepared for. They keep chasing, overextending, and they're not even, at an advantage in terms of team fight numbers. So it was a little bit awkward to, try to press on with their lead. They're already lost some footing from that Ghost Wing engage, but now again, Krull falls from the battle, and now they're forced to disengage.
They're gonna try to re-engage once again. Actually, good damage into that one. Mr. Jim's gonna end the already has a Serpent's Mask, so he has some form of sustain right there of lifesteal, but it's really not going to be enough as 4 members of Elite 8 will be battering down onto him. He goes down, and it seems like Bren Esports are not yet done for this brutality coming out from Elite 8 because they want that pedal. Does she have enough to get on out of there? Like that's going to be a no, as Spitfire finds his mark and just sets his opponents ablaze.
They should keep doing this sort of punishing play, because obviously since Elite 8 managed to ramp up, take the advantage, get that punishment overextending there, but as you can see at this point they're really good at bursting down certain targets, they're really good at punishing plays, but at this point they should run away as it might be overwhelming in terms of numbers, especially they have more on their side. They're good at chasing at this point, and right now it's gonna be the Catherine that's gonna fall.
Man, you said it. I mean, the Fortress allows for so much mobility here for Elite 8 to get targets. Imagine that if you're gonna rotate from River, activate the River movement speed boost plus the Fortress, that's something basically like a tidal wave rushing in onto your opponents, and they find themselves the second ghosting of the game. already set up here. The Crow will actually be trying to set up onto the sides. He'll be fought out here by the Vox's Sonar. And here comes the Ringo coming in. Does get hooked in by the Churnwalker. They'll try to make something happen. From Hell's Heart does connect onto the Glaive. And that gives a little bit of the opening to shut down onto that Fortress. But you gotta remember that the Vox can just hit multiple targets at the same time. They destroy. This is a 2-for-2 trade. It's still going to be a 2 versus 2 scenario here, as it seems like the last man standing for Elite 8 will be the Churnwalker. Where is the Petal going to be actually pushing into the top lane? So this might have been a good fight for Bren Esports, but could have been objective-wise into the hands of Elite 8.
Definitely, they got a lot out of that, and the death timers are not that punishing just yet. So after they recover, after they're all alive, then it's going to be at equal footing in terms of numbers, but in the meantime, they're just going to get this swing, which they should capitalize on, whether, you know, try to split push or try to find these team fights or try to make a pick. That's probably something that they could do so that they could maximize its value. But if they're too afraid to make, or if they're a little bit scared to make a move, then perhaps, you know, taking the Ghost Swing is just taking an objective away from, you know, from Elite 8 at this point. But they're going to be bumping on to the Glaive.
Speaking of bumping on, nice use on the stun connection right there, as Mr. Jim will try to just chase down onto Redemption. Too many slows, and there he goes. Back into it. They're going for that one. Nice stun onto the Fortress from Hell's Heart. Does connect, but there's too many members here. Activates a pack attack. Will they actually go for the charge in, as they do have Vox right here onto the sides, going in aggressive with the auto attacks, and this Catherine will be no more. Leaps right into the face of the Black Feather, and they got the damage. They have, once again, this Vox right in their arsenal, able to use that properly, and he will be trying to go overly aggressive onto this Reza. Looking into the top lane, it's going to be actually the Ring. Take down some turrets, but still, the fight ensues into the bottom lane. Mr. Jim, 3v1. Is he really going to put all of his assets, all of his eggs into one basket? That lifesteal basket looks like it doesn't pay well for him, so he goes down, but at least it does give a little bit of safety here for the Krull, as well as Reza to maybe escape. Second pack attack comes out. Neon coming back in with the Ringo, going in with that auto attack damage. Look at that one, actually explodes into his opponent. Vox still in a very bad spot. Nice timing from the Afterburn on Redemption right there, keeps him alive, but you gotta be careful. Spitfire does have his mobility, his dash to be able to connect onto the Reza, or rather onto the Vox, but still, after that one, it won't stop Elite 8 from trying to get this Black Claw.
This is exactly what I was worried about when they were already, you know, low on numbers in terms of, you know, how they are as a team, because there is the Black Claw already on the table. Catherine tries to go in and get the steal, but I'm not quite sure Bren Esports wants this, as they are low on numbers to begin with. Escobar is going to be the next one to fall, and that is 5 members still on the field for Elite 8.
I mean, it was, I would think, a worth it try to try and, well, steal the Black Claw, but yes, at the end of the day, if you're just late, it's not really gonna, well, how do you say this, pay off. But they tried their best, but I guess the best wasn't good enough.
You really had to do that, but you know, I have to do right now for Bren Esports is to defend against this Black Claw, try to clear as much wave as they can, try to chip down their HP so that, you know, they would hesitate going all in, as they're pretty aggressive at this point. That's Black Claw still breathing fire, but the fight is about to start.
Man, how can you actually try to go all of, I would say, let's just put this in perspective. Like, as it looks like Elite 8's going to be cleaning up house here, they all get like them 3 kills. How are you going to be able to go through, you know, diving in onto your opponents while there's like the the Petal, as well as the, you know, just dishing out all of their minions, you know?
Exactly.
It's going to be difficult.
And with Petal always creating pressure, no matter where she goes, from top to bottom, the split push is just too much. And as a 4-man unit, 4-man squad for Elite 8, they are working wonders for their team. They managed to make it work. That's Black Claw already doing the damage. Armory is already done, and member Bren Esports as well. And right now, they take game number 1.
Before that 17-minute mark actually passed the timer, so that was a really good start coming in from them. Any final thoughts? That was a pretty quick game. What do you think? Like, or I guess, Just like really quick thoughts before we pass it.
Well, for Bren, they started out really good with their rotations and their aggression. They really know that they have the necessary amount of damage to actually break someone down, and then probably make more room for them to move around the map. But the instance where I saw where it was a little bit awkward was the time when they pursued Ghostwing on when there's just two of them, and Elite 8 managed to collapse on them, like 4 members, and then after that they lost control over the map. Petal was also creating pressure from bot lane to top lane, and Ringo had to always deal with them, and as a team of 5 of their composition, they weren't able to maximize it well.
True. All right, so I won't say anything else because I want other and our analysts that break down even further. So, and I requested you guys, what happened there?
Thank you, Azurai and Riku, for casting that game. And Elite 8, very strong looking in that game, but it was a lot closer than what we saw yesterday, Orchestra, wasn't it? Because there was objectives taken on both sides.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Before even heading into this match, I said we're expecting to see a very close game. And both teams had their winning moments. You could see the early game very much in favor of Bren Esports. They were very aggressive and utilizing their invades into the enemy jungle, just keeping that map advantage and pushing them back, denying them space. But it got to a point where Bren Esports were about 10 kills to 2 against Elite 8, and it was looking like, well, maybe Bren Esports are just going to snowball this one out. But they tried going for a Ghostwing around 8 minutes 30, and that's when Elite 8 came in, and they stole that away from them. And after stealing that, they managed to turn the kills back to even, and in the process get multiple turrets for themselves. So
yeah, more importantly than the kills was really that once the Ghostwing was stolen away, that took the gold lead that Bren Esports had accumulated down to 0. The gold was completely even after that Ghostwing was captured. And one thing that I really want Bren Esports to work on, particularly Neoncy, is that he won his lane against Petal, absolutely destroyed the Petal early game on Ringo. He had a 2-level advantage, he got 3 kills in return for nothing against the Petal, but his tier 1 turret went down first, and his tier 2 turret went down before he got anything off the Petal's turret. So in that top lane, yes, it's good to win your lane, but it's more important to get that pressure on the turret and try and win that objective. Because what also happened was Petal split push down top lane, which caused 3 members of Bren Esports to go towards that to defend it. And so then there were 4 versus 2 in mid lane, and of course they're going to lose that fight. So that was one thing that they need to work on is, yes, you can win your lane, but you need to get something out of it.
Yeah, that actually brings me to the point when the second Ghostwing attempt, by this time it was Elite 8 who started it, and although Elite 8 technically won out the fight, they had 2 members left standing, all the meanwhile, Petal was still up in that top lane, and pushed down the tier 2 turret at that point, and after that, although Bren Esports, it could have been a real opportunity for them to come back. They had the Ghostwing buff, and they just got taken down one by one. And then Elite 8 kind of continued on that way. You saw right after that, they went for Black Claw, and they pushed out, they pushed to win, and they finished out the game. So you could see Elite 8, as soon as they got that footing, they seemed like a very strong team, and is very secure in what they were doing. So both teams, really showing that they can play well, but Elite 8 just had so much more control from the mid to late.
Yeah, the real difference was when Elite 8 went for that Black Claw play, the members of Bren Esports decided to try and steal it away as opposed to trying to do something else. Whereas when Ghostwing was captured, Petal split pushed to get a turret. So even though they got Ghostwing, you got a turret, it's not an even trade, but it's a much closer trade than trying to steal it away and going for the all or nothing play. And so I think it makes the main reason why Elite 8 could just push for win is that there was never a 5-man fight from Bren Esports. They were always split, because it started off with Catherine dying alongside one other member, then it was a 3 versus 5, and then it was a 2 versus 5 when they were pushing down for the Vayne. And some lovely plays from Elite 8. They were low on health, and so what they did was they ported home, sold some items, bought teleport boots, and teleported back to the minion wave. Fortress and Glaive both did that when pushing with Black Claw, and it's such an effective way to use teleport boots, because it means you can get out, get full health, buy some items, and come back straight into the fight.
Yeah, definitely a good use of that, and really help them shut out the game afterwards. And you could see when Black Claw was pushing down the mid, they didn't just stick around. I mean, although Bren Esports tried to aggress onto them after the fact, they still went down to the bomb lane and made sure they broke the base there, just defining that win, making sure it's definitely going to happen.
Yeah, I think that the pushing with Black Claw was very effective. It could have been maybe a bit nicer if they'd have tried to split push a bit earlier, but they didn't actually need to, because they knew it was a 3 versus 5 if they all went down mid, so they could just win that fight and then slowly push from there. So yeah, it was sometimes when pushing Black Claw, you recommend not putting everyone down the middle, because then you're getting way less than if you try and split people up, maybe a 1-3-1 push or a 2-2-1 push. But it makes a lot of sense if you know you can win the fight. Put them there, put the pressure on so they can't even do any damage to Black Claw. And then, but once 2 armories are down, the Vein Crystal is quite open in terms of defense.
Yeah, and that's really the thing when we look at 5v5, the difference between Black Claw and Kraken from 3v3 is that when you push with Kraken, there's only one way to go into the base. You have to follow the Kraken. If you're not pushing with your Kraken, there really isn't too much you can do in terms of objectives. It's understandable if your full team isn't up and you might feel a bit insecure going in that situation, but 5v5 opens up a whole lot more tactics to go in. You can either just, as I would guess that Elite 8 kind of started doing with that push, was all focusing middle to start with, just to get the turret down at least. But even when Bren Esports aggressed onto them, it meant Black Claw was already in the base doing havoc.
Yeah, it does make sense. In 3v3, you either push down lane with Kraken through the choke point, or you backdoor over the wall with someone like Liver. And those are your 2 options. If they have vision on that, you have 1 option. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And also, a really interesting thing to note is, after you figure out what they're going to do, you figure out who's going to be in what lane, you then have to decide what is the best way to respond to this. Should you counter with exactly the same number of people? Or maybe you should let the Black Claw do its work down mid lane and put a lot more of your teammates on the outer lanes, try and get some kills, then you've got the man advantage in mid lane. And so once you've figured out what they're doing, you then have to figure out what your best strategy is defending Black Claw to make sure you lose as little as possible.
Yeah, I think once you're able to get Black Claw onto the armory, or at least even at the turret entrance, base entrance, I should say, it really is a bit stressful and hard for these teams to really react to what's going on, because there's so many possibilities of how the enemy team could attack and push into your base. So I think it is quite a difficult defense, and even if you manage to survive and defend your base for a while longer, chances are you've already lost 1 or 2 armories, and from there it is kind of an uphill battle and really hard to make a comeback.
Yeah, so as we are getting ready for this second game, I think it's to both recognise that they need to be trading objectives whenever they can. If you know they're on Ghost Wing, you know they're on Black Claw, and they're going to get something from it, then try and push your own turret, or try and make sure that you're getting something in return. Maybe if they take one dragon, you take the other one, because it takes so long to run across the map. The Sovereign's Rise is so much larger than the How to Unfold that it's generally not worth it for them to come and contest you, so you can get a free turret or a free objective, and not just try and steal it away, because it makes sense. When someone's taking Kraken, your instinct is, right, we try and steal this, and if we get it, great. If not, we just run away and hope we don't die. Whereas that's not the only thing that you can do in 5v5. You can try and get something somewhere else. And also, I really want to see, if you put pressure in the lane and you get some kills, get the turret, or at least force the mid laner to go to one of those outer lanes and force them to rotate, then you get a free turret in the mid lane.
Yeah, definitely. It would have been nicer to see Bren Esports taking advantage of that early game pressure that they had, the early game aggression as well. And I think if Bren can have the same start, but just learn from the last game, as you said, focusing a bit more on objectives, not just on kills, that it should be able to transition into a smooth game for them. But they must be second-guessing themselves a bit after Elite 8 taking that match from them.
Yeah, in the end, it was a very short game. Elite Eight won it in like under 17 minutes. And if you'd looked at the early game start, you would not have assumed that at all. And so it seems, looking at the end result, that Elite Eight had snowballed the entire game. But that really didn't happen. Bren Esports started off strong, but then Elite Eight just knew how to turn it around. And there were 3 dragons taken in that time. So there was a very early Ghost Ring start, as you mentioned, from Bren Esports, which is not typical of what we've seen in the previous games.
Yeah, well, I think that they had the right idea going for Ghost Wing. They thought they were, they thought they had the advantage, which I would have thought the same at the time. And then Elite Eight just turned it around completely on them. So perhaps it'll be Bren Esports this time to do vice versa against Elite Eight if we see an early game going in favor of Elite Eight. But either way, I'm sure we're going to see another close game. So it's too early to call which team is going to win this one out. But it is a best of 2. So next match will be the last one between Bren and Elite Eight. But with that, I think I have no complaints on general rotations, playstyle. They seem to know what they're doing and everything. Drafting, also very good. That never seems to be a problem with 5v5. Drafting is always... There's so much diversity in the team comps now. And I feel that it's quite easy to put a decent comp together that can work out. And it's more... It comes down to the management of your lanes, map, objectives, everything we've talked about previously and once again today. So, yeah, I'm just...
Yeah, we are going to have to hand over to Azurai and Riku for casting this game.
Thank you for breaking that down for us. And, well, as they were ending their talk, look at this one. I actually wanted to reiterate what Mr. Jim was trying to do here. Nice stun from Catherine right there just to deny him the take on the Crystal Power Treant or the Crystal Treant there. I think maybe that's one of the things that you can actually scout camp is, well, basically to know what timing you can actually may try to steal the camp, and Mr. Jim had the right idea there, but it was just nice, I guess, response coming in from Elite 8.
Yeah, I feel like Elite 8 already anticipated this kind of play because based from the first game we've seen from Bren Esports, they're the type to really want to mow you down, just go all in. We've seen 1v3s, the Krull just going ham, and it's something that, you know, Bren Esports could learn from the first game. They have to step back, like right now, because it's going to be really tricky. And at this point, that's going to be first blood already handed over to Elite 8.
What a tricky turkey there. Gets the first blood right off the get-go. Really, I mean, Catherine is, I think, one of the best captains still in Vainglory. Like, you can really see there that she has a lot of, I would say, utility that she brings in onto the fight. For this matchup, at least, it gives the Varia enough time for her to actually set up her skills, because even though she does deal quite a bit of damage, she does at least have that, which is to need to charge up her first and second abilities. It's going to be the Lyra coming in with a creation here, going to be going aggressive. A little bit of the splatter there from your Uranophobia, or Phobia. Not going to be able to deal some damage though, but now, I mean, this is so early. We haven't even hit the 3, and Pandemonium has erupted. Nice heals coming once again from this Lyra, giving that sustain for her teammates. Coming in from the bottom, oh my goodness, blasts from the past. Coming into the bottom lane, Catherine goes down, and Creation should follow through. And you know what happened? What they say, with Creation comes also destruction. That's going to be a 2 for 2 kills in favor of nobody. But wait, as I say that, they're looking for Urano.
I saw that coming. Creation, destruction, well played, Asteroid. But going back to what happened to the fight, it seems that once they reach their level 2 spikes, level 2, once they got their 2 skills already set up, it seems that, you know, Elite 8 was fights, but looks like they're not, in terms of rotation. I don't think that's going to be a good idea. Nor managed to land the final hit, Samuel landing the hits there as well. Lyra, Creation, the heals are not going to be enough. But again, we mentioned how Bren Esports should take a step back from earlier and try to take a chill pill, because we've seen how aggressive they are, and Elite 8 definitely knows about this play style and are aware of it, and they are prepared to make, you know, the turnaround plays whenever they make these types of aggression. I'm pretty sure there are already, you know, common placements of scout cams, and that's why we see junglers rotating or taking the long route just so that they can try to make a sneaky play or sneaky gank coming from the jungler side. But in the meantime, we see Mr. Jim just lurking around, trying to clear out or set up vision for the team. Because again, what the analyst said earlier, as long as Bren Esports just repairs what happened on their post early game, then they can take a game out of Elite 8. But at this point, because they respect the Rona, I'm guessing they're gonna add a little bit more pressure on the top side of the map in the meantime, especially that ghosting is still not on the table.
I mean, aside from that, the thing that I kind of wanted to see, maybe the captains, or actually, you don't call them captains right now, they call them like gankers or is the emphasis on the division items, because that I think is gonna what it gives these matches more emphasis. But holy moly, look at it in bottom lane, Spitfire almost getting the last shot onto now, and Renegades actually able to get away from that one. Urano could be in a very bad spot as Mr. Jim is right on the precipice of, right on the silence of actually diving onto him. Ooh, the port though, it's gonna be enough, and he will survive. Now actually goes down into the mid, and going back to the bot. Creation could be dove upon here, but Neon has taken quite a bit of damage, and he will just port back to base.
Exactly, and this is the beautiful thing. Oh, almost canceled the ports, but that is the beautiful thing about the early phases of the game, and with the playstyle that you have for your team, is that you create these mini squads or mini synergies within the composition. Like, you can go aggressive by twos and probably try to be aggressive on other lanes and come as a pair. And the same goes for these types of plays. Like, for example, I pair up the crawl on top with whoever is going to be in the top side of the map. So you make these early rotations because there's not much pressure yet on the river side, because there's no Black Claw yet, there's no Ghost Wing yet. So you do have this sort of time frame that you can execute and try to get as much farm, as much kills, as much pressure as you can. And the beautiful thing as well about Elite 8's pick on the Varia is that you can create this sort of space, and because of your ultimate on. So that's the reason why I also am a fan, because especially during the laning phases, you cannot afford yourself to rotate personally. So what you could do is take advantage of your ultimate or your global skills to create at least some sort of space and create impact, and you get to stay in your lane.
Well, speaking of that, could be also the reason why Bren Esports actually went for the Baron, because again, Ion Cannon now actually has much a global presence, so you can actually activate it. Mid, a little bit greedy coming in from guessing here, really wants to go aggressive with hits on the jump jets, but well, no tomato, no luck there just yet. Now into the bottom lane, will be able to escape with his life, as it seems like Neon and Mr. Jun has actually pretty dominant in this one. If I'm not mistaken, 42 CS onto Neon and only 35 to Urano. That's been actually rotating a lot more in the jungle than in the bot, so he's trying to at least maybe come back in the levels as well. And looking into the mid, Renegades could be in a bad spot. No from Hell's Heart. Oh no, it actually was used, but will not connect onto Renegades. Mr. Jim a bit too greedy, and he'll have to pay for his life with that one, but he survives. Boom! Blast Tremor, and well, now gets that last brigade, or the last connection for the kill.
Exactly, and I did mention earlier that we've seen the crawl, we've seen Weya almost always at the top side of the map, but they're going to be running out of time. At this point, if Ghost Wing spawns, then the pressure that the heat spot is already at the bottom side of the river. So that means Rona gets to have more space, Rona gets to have more leeway, and less pressure for her to grow, and at this point, Noincy might be in big trouble.
Big trouble indeed. Anvil will come out now, really absorbs the damage, and Urano actually will claim the last shot. And speaking of the Rona, top lane wise, gonna be in a 2v1. My goodness, she does much power, already has a Serpent's Mask, plays a little bit like the Black Feather, has a crazy amount of sustain, activates the Red Mist, and that's gonna be at least tier 1 for tier 1, bottom to mid. And it looks like Elite 8 will not stop pushing as they try to go in that bottom lane.
Definitely, they should respond to this, because the structures are taken down on this side. Elite 8 will have control of the bottom side, means Ghostwing is gonna be, you know, one of their, they have advantage in terms of map control. But the reason why, you know, we see that Rona has been ramping up already. She has been, you know, in a very steady pace, and because of the safe pace, despite, you know, the attempts. Oh, will you look at that, Mr. Jim with the B steps.
I think he should survive. Yeah, he will.
What a show, Mr. Jim. Well, if he dies here, I'm pretty sure he's gonna be a little bit sorry.
Ooh! Denied to use that gauntlet of his. Anime Save Me will go aggressive. Actually eats the ion cannon from Guessing here, but look at the damage coming in from, rather from the Catherine. Rona's gonna be going in, but they group up, and that red mist might be enough. My goodness, he's survived only with the sliver, and Catherine will clean up house. What are you doing? Giving the Rona the time to actually activate or sap the life from that Serpent's Mask is just, you know, you're asking for trouble.
That was a great, almost great bait, mate, if they could have won that exchange. But at this point, Catherine is still lurking around the top side of the map, making sure that they finish the turret. And right now, that's Krull. We'll finish the kill. We'll punish now. We'll see if it's going to be enough, because Samuel is already there as well, Spitfire. But I'm not quite sure what the plan was, but they wanted to bait out resources from Elite 8. But then again, they managed to save the turret, so I suppose it's fine. But as they already made some movements here at the mid side of the map. But at this point, though, it's a little bit tricky, as Ghostwing has already spawned on the table. So again, Mr. Jim, with the steps, with the B steps.
I don't think they really care about the Ghostwing for this point for now, but as I say that, Mr. Jim looks like he was going to rotate there, but it looks like he just wants to make some action happen in the bottom lane. Urano will be his target of choice as he does that once again, but that's not where the action is. It's going to be where Spitfire is actually being positioned. Wea is not going to be moving, so maybe something else happened, but look at the damage coming in from the Baron. This is still why I think he's also such a potent damage dealer. If you're just able to use your jump jets and, you know, position well your ion cannon and porcupine mortar, you will basically explode into your opponent's face. And now Mr. Jim as well, Spitfire, looking for more. Anton Jaeger's denied, but still he finds the Baron in the midst of it all, gets the shutdown kill, and they are looking for another one. Activates the boots. Creation will try to get a little bit more sustained with his 8-slot skill, activating that just for extra HP, and he will survive the sigil. Oh, Mr. Jim wants more blood, but I don't think he has the damage. He only has the fountain, but I don't know, man.
He's doing it again. So trusting on that Vanguard shield. Anyway, going back to what happened, great job on the gauntlet. Placement not enabling the Varia to escape. Han Jaegers was a little bit, you know, trusting on, you know, the Lyra heal, the sustain, and the mobility that, you know, both of these two heroes provide. But at this point, in terms of pressure, again, Anime Save Me manages to destroy that top tier turret, and at this point, Baron is just gonna skedoodle away along with Krull. And we understood the threat of Anime Save Me here on that Rona, and that's the reason why they keep visiting, they keep ganking it, but again, nothing of that sort is going to happen, as bot side of the map is, you know, Saw getting collapsed on, just one auto attack away, and that's going to be another kill for Bren Esports.
I think like the strategy here for Bren Esports is actually not too bad, but Jaeger's bad spot. Gonna be able to dash on out of there. Now comes, just go a little bit of the love tap onto Neo, activates the bulwark just for the slow right there, but Neo will not be. And you gotta remember, his speed is unnecessarily ridiculous, and Guessing does a little bit of love tap back to now. They gotta be able to escape from that one because they are a little bit too low here, and Saw wants some action. They're gonna be spawning out. The Saw goes into the bottom tier 2. Creation coming in from the backside can actually activate the bulwark or that suppressive fire, but does get the wait for it. Nice use on the gauntlet, will keep them in place, but not nice enough that it'll keep him in place for that porcupine mortar. Guessing as well as Neon trying to get this bottom tier 2, and now comes in from the backline, goes in with the blast tremor, only connects onto, I believe, the Arden. That'll leave Neon as well as Guessing here to wreak some havoc. But it's not gonna matter as they stayed there welcome for too long. They go down. Mr. Jim is the last man standing there. Although Spitfire will try to maybe give him some form of safety here, but there's 4-man strong and maybe not.
So much CC as well involved, but because of the chase that they did, they just led them directly towards the Ghost Wing, and that's the nearest objective that they could get. Oh no, Spitfire might be in a little bit of trouble here, as he might be the next person to fall. They're gonna leave it up to Rona this time around, and meanwhile we see the Crawl, split pushing at the top side of the map because they've seen the Rona already eliminating 2. So because of the pressure on the top side of the map, it just gives more leeway for Bren Esports, Elite 8 to have more space in that area. So because of that, Bren Esports is forced to do something at the top side. Crawl is not around, but this time they're going to fight.
Baron's a bit over aggressive here. Here's the frontline Baron, but he has the Shield of Blast. He goes for the second one for the win. Can he go for it? Porcupine Marcher, no! He actually got jebaited. He actually got sidestepped. The Kyrie Irving into the face, the Baron, and oh my gosh, the ultimate facepalm there for Guest Sing. My goodness, the humanity.
Well, the thing about what Elite 8 is doing right now is that they're not really afraid of the split push. You're going to do a split push, we're going to do the same as well. We're going to go here at bot side of the map, we're going to overwhelm you, and even take 2 objectives at the same time. They might be forcing this a little bit too much, but that's 3 members, make that 4 invested on the side, on this bot side, so that just puts more, room for the side of Bren Esports to, sneakily take this at this point. That's 2 members in. Baron is about to join in the mid side of the map, try to distract the Saw, and there's Black Claw being, already taken by the side of Bren Esports. But at this point, they're going to be chasing down Elite 8.
Oh my goodness, he just leaps in onto the fray, and Anime Save Me is going aggressive. FHH will not connect, and Guessing is actually put into a very bad spot. My goodness, how does he survive that ordeal, as it looks like they got out of that one scot-free. This Black Claw does have a little bit of leeway to get himself that mid-tier 2, but you kind of want to get more out of that one, although members of Bren Esports had to port back to the base. They're coming back right now to support the Black Claw, but he is dangerously low, so maybe just a little bit of love taps right here and there. But Neon is actually here. He's the box, and he can just tag every single one that he wants to, able to space away from the opponent. There's Guessing going in aggressive with the jump jets, but he will get exploded. But before that, he does get some good damage. 3-man use on that Ion Cannon, and he still goes down, but he does tap them, or at least shred them down to very low HP, but it's really not going to matter, as the members of Elite 8 just goes aggressive, and they basically stampede into 4 members of Bren Esports.
3k gold lead, all the leads in terms of kills lead to Elite 8, but at this point, because of that cleanup, because of the Ardan not being present at that fight, there wasn't, space created. There's no gauntlet to, try to push them away, try to back them away, but at that point, it was all about the chasing game. It was finishing targets, but look at Mr. Jim. I'm gonna help you there with an objective. Looks like he might survive at this ordeal. We'll have to see at this point, but again...
Oh! A little bit of fancy footwork, but he is actually setting up a lot right now for his team. He's super tanky. He can actually make something happen here. Iron Cannon not connect onto anyone, will not make any contact at all, and Saw might actually be able to make some damage in the bottom lane, but he decides to, well, join in onto the fray, maybe in the middle lane, maybe top lane, but he does leave that bottom lane, at least for now. It might actually go down here, as Williams going to defend it. He doesn't have the best of wave clears, so it's really not going to happen for him. And now into the mid we go. Missed Neon, able to use the wall to actually be able to get away from that one, but Enemy Save Me so good with his leap, able to make something happen. They will get the Baron, but now this is a 4-man rotation coming in from the side of Bren Esports, and they want some blood. Neon is still alive. Can he actually deal the damage? Enemy Save Me going in, activates the red mist, but now the spacing is so good coming in from the side of Bren Esports, going in with the auto attack, spots out the lighter. He will go down. but still, Anime Save Me is so full in HP that he will not be denied. He's still looking for Spitfire, goes in with the leap, and he is just massacring members of Bren Esports left and right. They go down, and only the Ardent to remain. That's going to be an ace here for the side of Elite 8.
This is exactly why you should not leave Verona alone at the top side, especially in the hands of Anime Save Me. And you saw the zoning that, Anime Save Me did towards the carries of, Bren Esports. Because of that, they're going to be losing an armory. They're going to lose more objectives or structures around the map, but they have to really, still respect the damage that comes from the side of Bren Esports. They do still have the Baron. They still have that Vox on their side, as well as the late game crawl. So it's still, they have to still play around it, but at this point, they really have everything by the books. They really know when to enter. They know which choke points to pursue, and because of that, there are 2 objectives at this point that they must contest, that they must get to slowly close the game out here for Elite 8. And because of the 2 choices at the map, all they have to do is just manage their wave. Try to add much pressure on the side lanes and in the mid lanes as well. Vision up, especially at the side of, the Black Claw. So if they really want to pursue, that pushing, the sieging route, but if they want to do the team fight route, which I think they would, benefit more, then perhaps the Ghost Wing is something that they could try to bait out or try to contest later on to the game. But looks like they decided to go for the Black Wing.
Fight ensues once again. Nice use of Gauntlet, able to actually space out quite a bit for the side here of Bren Esports. My goodness, so close, but Guessing is still alive, and this might tilt into the favor of Bren Esports because, like I said, Baron is so good. With the help of the box, their damage is just insanely AoE, and Black Claw is going to be their next objective here for the side of Bren Esports. I mean, I think that previous clash, the Black Baron was not able to actually contribute anything, and now that he has made actually a big difference for Bren.
Exactly, really good. The Ardan also did well on the Gauntlet placement, so that would just really make. They're taking 2 objectives in the map, so that's Ghost Wing and Black Claw on the table as well. So this is a very smart play, taking advantage of the death timers at this point of the game. 21 minutes in, people could join in at the fight, but that's a scout cam. They're gonna spot the crawl, taking it slowly but surely. So that would mean all 5 members would really want to try out either to defend or try to contest this objective and make a steal, or else they're gonna just put so much value into these 2 objectives, 2 buffs. That's gonna help. So Arcane Passage is ready for Lyra. We'll see if it's gonna be a steal. Nope, no steal whatsoever, but Varya is doing the work with her ult as well. But 2 buffs on Bren Esports. What can you do, Elite 8?
Man, that's basically double whammy right there. Black Claw plus Ghost Wing buff. I mean, that's just like the creme de la crop for the side here of Bren Esports. Flames are spewed into the mid, and this is it. They have bled into the base. I mean, it looked like it was Elite 8 to actually, close out this game, but with that one clash to rule them all, and in the darkness binds them, it's just gonna be, again, Baron as well as the Vox combo nation. Oh my goodness, look at the damage. You're just going left and right. And that Black Claw is battering onto the Crystal Vein, or rather the Vein Crystal, and this might be GG, and it is! They get the win, and that's going to be 1-for-1 in the 2.
That was a really good turnaround from Bren Esports. I mean, at the first few minutes, I felt like Elite 8 was, had a good footing on their game, but at the late game, Bren Esports really did well in terms of playing around with their composition or playing around with their protective captains, air quote. So really good job from Bren, 1-for-1.
All right, so I'll pass it to Minimiter as well as guys. Take it away.
Thank you, Azurai and Riku. The series, in the end, going 1-1 between Elite 8 and Bren Esports. That was a ridiculous game. What do you think about it, iQuestial?
Well, it was definitely just crazy, and great to see that Bren Esports were able to come back in that second match and take the win. As I said, these teams going to play it fairly evenly, and in a best of two by taking one each, that does put them tied. And with that match especially, it's something we talked about at the end of the first match, what Bren Esports would have to do differently if they wanted a chance to really have a comeback in the late game, which is exactly what they did. As you said, they needed to be trading objectives, which all the way up until, I believe, like 17 minutes or so in, before they got that initial Black Claw, it was kill for kill, turret for turret, looking very even all across the board. And then Bren Esports got the Black Claw for themselves, but then it was actually Elite 8 who managed to make the pushback. They got 4 kills without losing anyone on their team, and defending and denying that Black Claw push. And from there, as Asurai said, I'd agree with him that it looked like it was going to be an Elite 8 game, but as you saw in the end, Elite 8 just took one up. Bren Esports took one fight, and then off the back of that, they got Black Claw and the Ghost Wing, and that is some serious, I guess, objective prioritization there that really led to them being able to close the game out in an instant.
Yeah, it was certainly a risky play to have Crawl solo that Ghost Wing without any vision, and obviously the enemy team did have vision on it, but then the rest of the team came to assist him. Baron managed to get the last hit, and it was really the story of the fights were, if Baron stayed alive, it would be, they'd win. If Baron died, they would lose. But Baron stayed alive in the 2 final fights, so Bren Esports took the game quite convincingly in those last few fights. But yeah, Elite 8, they obviously defended Black Claw extremely well, not quite getting the ace, but getting near enough. And then they got another team fight, which means they got an armory in the bot lane. They got the first armory of the game, went to Elite 8, and in all of the games I've played, the first team to get an armory wins. Because that lane then constantly pushes, there's not much they can do about it. You can take the dragons while they're deep-pushing the lane. But Bren Esports didn't let that happen. They would push their lane, push that bot lane up, and then they could, once they've won the team fight, take the objectives, knowing that their lane's going to be okay. They don't have to port home to stop the game being finished, even though their armory is down.
Yep, I definitely noticed that point of the game as well, and I believe if Bren Esports hadn't taken that team fight, if they hadn't won that fight afterwards before capturing Black Claw, it definitely would have been GG to Elite 8, but because you said they were able to manage it, they pushed it out, making sure it's safe, and then rotated towards a fight where Baron was able to have a lot of impact, and they came out on top of that. And we also mentioned before just the split objective taking, where Cruel was over on the Ghost Wing pit taking that, and it was a bit risky. They didn't have vision there. Meanwhile, the side of Elite 8 had vision. However, in the end, worked out for them. Sometimes you gotta take a risk to get the reward, and very well played by both teams. They're excited to see more of them, as I believe it's Elite 8 who will be playing in a later match against Impunity.
Yeah, they will, so I'm sure they'll be looking to prove that they can take a game against Impunity, as they did against Bren Esports. I definitely agree that it was the risky play to go for Ghost Wing, but I think it was necessary, because if they just got Black Claw and then tried to push, if they lose that fight, then Elite 8 either win the game or get Ghost Wing. And so you're in a lose-lose situation at that point. So they had to go for it themselves, they had to take the risk, and it did pay off. 1-1 in the end between Bren Esports and Elite 8. Now, we're going to head to a break. See you soon.
Sovereign's Rise is home to 2 terrifying dragons, Black Claw and Ghost Wing. Ghostwing arrives early in the match. When she's about to land, a circle fills on the minimap, indicating that she will arrive soon on Sovereign's Rise. If she's defeated in battle, the team will earn her favor and be granted a powerful buff that provides a regenerating barrier, health, and energy when out of combat. This gives the team a huge advantage in fights, so make sure to group up and engage the enemy to make the best use of the buff that Ghostwing grants. Blackclaw arrives later in the game. When he is about to land, a circle fills on the minimap, indicating that his descent is imminent. Blackclaw's swipes slice through nearby heroes, and his fire breath roasts anyone who comes too close. The team that manages to defeat Blackclaw in battle gains his loyalty, causing him to rampage down the middle lane, attacking structures and enemies standing in his way. You can either escort Blackclaw down the lane to help pave a way to the enemy base, or use him as a distraction and focus on the two side lanes. Making use of the two dragons is absolutely crucial in Sovereign's Rise. You should understand what they do and how to best utilize their gifts if you want to achieve victory. Good luck and see you on the Rise! You can change a hero's appearance and experience their alternate fates with skins. Skins can be purchased with ice in the market, won from chests, or you can craft them. To craft a skin, you must discover that skin's blueprint and collect enough essence to unlock it. Crafting costs vary based on the skin's rarity. Blueprints will be rewarded for completing quests. If you find a blueprint that you don't need, you can destroy it to collect a bunch of essence. Duplicate blueprints are automatically destroyed. Duplicate skins received from chests will transform into opals, which can be used to buy special edition skins in the market. That's it! You're well on your way to Skintimidation. On Sovereign's Rise, the Vein Crystal is equipped with its own defenses and fights back against enemies who approach it. Its first attack launches a salvo of missiles that locks onto heroes, damaging and slowing them, while its second attack fires a line of explosions that damages and stuns heroes standing in its way. The crystal is also surrounded by shields. As long as all three shields remain, the crystal is impervious to damage. However, destroying the armories that surround the Vein Crystal removes the shields, making the crystal susceptible to attack. Armories are new structures surrounding the Vein Crystals in Sovereign's Rise. They are responsible for powering the Vein Crystal's defenses. When an enemy armory is destroyed, it grants your allied minions in its respective lane a boost, giving them more damage against enemy minions and structures, and reducing the damage they take from heroes. Additionally, every armory that is destroyed strips its Vein Crystal of some of its shielding, making it vulnerable to attack. Targeting the armories makes it easier to push into the enemy base and claim a victory. The jungle in Sovereign's Rise is home to a whole new set of terrifying monsters with powerful game-changing effects. The Gold Treant is a big jungle monster that grants a large amount of gold when killed. It is best to tackle it with an ally, since both heroes will be given a substantial amount of gold. The Weapon Treant is a special jungle monster that grants a temporary buff to the hero who lands the killing blow. This buff increases all weapon damage that the hero deals and adds a slow to their basic attacks. If the buffed hero is killed, a red orb drops onto the battlefield, granting the buff to the next hero who walks across it. The Crystal Treant is a special jungle monster that grants a temporary buff to the hero who lands the killing blow. This buff increases all crystal damage that the hero deals and also heals the hero for a portion of that damage. If the buffed hero is killed, a blue orb drops onto the battlefield, granting the buff to the next hero who walks across it. Understanding the jungle's inhabitants and what they have to offer can give you the edge you need to achieve victory. See you on the Rise!
Powered by the highest performance game engine on mobile, leveraging years of experience building the largest international competitive mobile esport, harnessing extraordinary community anticipation. This February, Super Evil Megacorp will unleash the category-defining 5v5 battle arena for mobile. The first and only true 5v5 MOBA on the mobile platform, featuring graphics that put the copycats to shame, rendered at a smooth, flawless 120 frames per second. A simple-to-start, highly accessible experience that matches or outperforms PC and console counterparts in every way, with ultra-precise, intuitive touch controls that make a MOBA feel like magic. Nothing diluted, nothing dumbed down, delivering through original and creative hero design, level design, item design, and objective design, the immense depth, skill, and complexity that a legitimate 5v5 MOBA should offer. Outplay and outthink your opponent like no other game. Superior gameplay and graphics. The most accurate and responsive controls. Deep, original fantasy storytelling. And unparalleled technical excellence with the platform-leading proprietary game engine and the highest frame rates. Super Evil Megacorp's Vainglory 5v5 sets the new bar for mobile gaming. Never settle for the lesser evil.
Hello, ladies and gents, boys and girls. Welcome back to the Vainglory show matches in Southeast Asia. We're here for the second match of the day. Renegades against Boom ID. Joining me, I've got Jewel.
Hello, and yes, we're back again, and this time we get to see Renegades, the top team, so to speak, going up against Boom Esports. We'll see what they can bring to the table. Previously, if you're just joining us now, we had Bren Esports going up against Elite 8, and that was definitely a match to watch, and very exciting. They went fairly even for the most part, and it really opens up the door to these other teams coming into 5v5. I believe it was our first time seeing Bren Esports and Elite 8 in these show matches as well, so definitely a good first impression from their side. But Boom Esports, they have some big shoes to fill going up against Renegades.
Yeah, certainly. The first game, the fact that was the first time we've seen Bren Esports and Elite 8 playing 5 versus 5, they've definitely showed that they know what they're doing, and they're going to be tough teams to play against. But we know Renegades are going to be a strong team. We know that they're going to be aiming to take the win without losing a turret. They managed to do that yesterday in both games, and that's what they said they want to try and do. So it's going to be tough for Boom Esports ID, but I think they can definitely put up a fight, and it's all about making sure you don't just lose objectives, you try and trade. We saw that so fantastically well in the first game of today. We saw that there would be a Black Claw or a Ghost Ring would be taken, and then a top lane turret would be taken in return. So you're not just giving away the advantage, you're making sure the gold stays about even because you're trading those objectives.
Yeah, I think as long as you're able to trade objectives with the enemy, you are able to swing the game around either way at any point, whether the enemy team might have was considered a slight lead, like we saw in that second match between Bren Esports and Elite 8. However, if you're not able to trade objectives, if you're just getting really hard pushed and kind of snowballed against, and you are on that back foot behind, I think your only options are to really try and steal an objective and maintain that map vision, and map control is quite important at that time, because if you're able to do so, there's always the chance that you might win out one team fight that you need, and that can really put you back in the game as long as you're able to get objectives off of the back of that.
Yeah, if you are quite far behind and you see them taking an objective, I think I agree with you that the best decision is either go for the steal, maybe with a long range ability, the ion cannon, one shot, one kill, something like that, so that you can do it safely. because if you go in and try and fight, you're probably just going to die. Or your other option is try and get more than what they're going to get. So if you see them taking Ghost Wing, maybe split, push down both lanes, or go hard down one lane. So you maybe try and get 2 turrets where you normally should just try and get 1. Because if you are behind and you know that they're just going to take the Ghost Wing and push for the win with it, you've got to try and do something. So try something out of the ordinary, maybe go all the way towards the armory down one lane and force them to respond to that. And maybe it'll work out well. If you can force 2 of them to back and only one of you is pushing down the lane, then you might be able to take the fight around Ghost Wing.
Yeah, well, that's why vision is important. You have the information, not just on objectives, but on rotations. And with that information, you can then decide how you're going to react. As you said, you don't always have to try go for steal. You can try think outside the box a bit, and instead there's so many more opportunities for you on the board. You can go push other lanes and such, try looking for those. But you did mention using those long-range abilities to try get the steal sometimes it's a small chance of success, to say the least, because it is quite hard to get the timing down on those abilities. So sometimes you just go and get your hands dirty.
It's one of the things where it's no risk but a chance for reward. So that's really something to aim for. But we are now loading into Sovereign's Rise for the first game between these two teams. So I'm going to be handing it over to Azurai and Luxuria.
Thank you so much for that introduction. And, well, once again, my name is Azurai. Of course, here with me now is Luxuria. So, how are you doing?
Hello, and I'm doing fine, actually. That first match was not as much of a snowball as compared to the previous series, or rather yesterday's series, so that's interesting to watch. It's pretty much back and forth, so I'm looking forward as to how RNG, or Renegades, would perform going up against Boom ID in this particular series. So what do you personally think? Because we know Renegades have got a certain play style. Yeah, to them, that means they just like to push. They don't quite go for those kills as much, and they have very good map awareness. As we see now, a very early engagement coming through just to protect their camps.
Yeah, I mean, like you have 10 scout camps at the start of your game. Why not use like you said, Silver Boom, or rather, sorry, Boom Esports, just making sure that nobody can actually get their camps. And Renegades, they did this, I think, yesterday as well, but to a lesser extent, and this kind of like left their opponents, I think Vainglory hanging. Vainglory went for a 5-man invade, and then Renegades as well, but they didn't put too much emphasis on them, so that they kind of got more again on the lanes, rather than just committing on one objective and kind of losing their lanes.
Yep, and in that early team fight as well, although we did mention yesterday, a pun coming through from Chingy in that bottom lane. Arden is just in a very dangerous position, and that is first blood going to Renegades. But as I was saying, we saw this a lot in yesterday's game as well, like just 4-men, 5-men going in for that buff. And the Dask have mentioned it is not the smartest move to do so, only because you do risk your lane, and on top of that as well, I apologize for that, but that is a kill going over to Samuel.
No worries, but Chingy will actually go revenge. Spaghetti's going to be playing on the Grace. We did not actually talk about this. This is kind of a little bit orthodox for me, but, well, that's Renegades for you. But anyways, good transition of kills. They get themselves 2, and for Boom Esports, they get the 1. So, I mean, any thoughts on this Grace for Spaghetti?
I mean, Spaghetti not on a carry. That is first for me as well, but this is after all a show match, and we still have Chingy on his very infamous glaive, where he likes to go, with multiple, couple, triple spell swords, and then just wreak havoc with those afterburns. So I'm looking forward to those plays, as with Aeon 222 as well in that bottom lane against a Weapon Arden. Pain Sunday on this Weapon Arden. Another small tussle in this bottom lane, but of course Aeon 222 will be looking to push against this Weapon Arden, and I've seen CP Arden. I've seen a lot of CP Arden in my time playing 5v5, and it works very, very well because of increased range in those blood for blood. And I'm pretty sure, that this weapon Arden would work as well.
Yeah, although for the meantime, he has kind of lost a little control in the bottom lane. See, he lost one kill, but losing in terms of the CS, but it's going to be another setup here. So that's a little bit of the cheeky plays. RNG Renegades, as they use the dash of Spaghetti to go over the wall. So it can actually reach that if your opponent is right beside it. So, good timing coming out from them. 3 kills already here for Renegades, for Boom Esports. They're at least rotating quite okay.
Yeah,
and Niels in the top lane is farming well okay as well.
Yep, very solid gold lead for Renegades right now. Bot lane once again, Alien XYZ getting caught out.
Spaghetti's gonna go be in a bit of a pickle here, but you know who's in the true pickle? Again, gets dominated as Chingy goes in for the rotation. No chance for that stun to actually connect, and Spaghetti still goes in. The very small amount of HP. Aeon will be trying to at least hold his hand for the meantime, but Pace Sandy, one bit of blood, tries to go in with the dash, but it's not really gonna connect.
Yeah, Renegades definitely bit off more than they could chew at that particular team fight. With Chingy just trying to play around those healing flasks. A lot is happening in this bottom lane, and as with all the games that we realize, and as we've casted as well, the bottom lane seems to be the lane of focus. And the only reason being is usually a Saw or a hard pusher will be placed in the bottom rather than the top to just try to farm and then just try to go for those split pushers. If not, then those off-laner. Like we saw in the previous series, we do see a CP Catherine in that bottom lane as well. So coming back to this game, we do see Renegades having this kill lead, and on top of that, the gold lead has kind of softened right now between both of the teams, but then again, Renegades is still on top of this. River Shop has spawned, and in another 2 or 1.5 more minutes, the gold swing would spawn. And talking about a gold swing, we saw Renegades yesterday picking up 3 gold swings for themselves, and thus ending the game pretty early.
Yeah, they were really dominant in their performance, but I think right now it's kind of doing quite alright. Boom Esports have been punishing a little bit the rotations of Chingy, but as that 5-minute mark did actually end, it's going to be Aeon buying up his first item, Serpent's Mask. It's going to make him a little bit more difficult to actually fight. And actually one thing I wanted to focus upon here is, we didn't see this too much, I think, on the previous match between Elite 8 and Bren. But this game, we are seeing Renegades on Spaghetti to actually get that early tier 3 vision item. So this is just basically Renegades saying that, vision in the 5-5 map is very important, and being able to actually also deny vision on your opponent is something that you can use, to greatly increase your, I guess, rotation successfulness, so that you can actually get kills or maybe even sneak objectives.
Yep, Chingy tried going in for that Crystal Buff steal earlier on, but got caught up by all 3 members of Boom Esports, and now the focus is on this mid lane. Spaghetti goes in.
3v2 though, there's gonna be at least to maybe catch them off guard, but, well, they did the sidesteps, and, well, they were able to escape with a little bit of HP left intact. Aeon's gonna be coming in here, so there's Spaghetti just diving in, and look at it, spin to win, it's Beyblade time. Chingy with the vertical spin, and it is just pandemonium here as they get the second as well. Impressive for Renegades. Kahlua will try to escape on out of there as he exits out from the mid river, but this will leave mid tier 1 exposed, although there's no wave, so no dice to get for the push. Bottom lane wise though, there's gonna be Aeon rotating back and actually gonna be proxying this tier 1 in the bottom lane, leaving Pain Sandy literally on an island.
Pain Sandy just looked so lost on this island as to what to do possibly, and now with a Minute Candy wave, they are going to push down this tier 1 turret in this bottom lane.
Oh, they activate the cage. Rage in the cage. I was hoping that they were actually trying to make some sad life. Anyways.
Something actually happened with, that across the map. Ultimate coming through from iBaby on that Celeste, clipping both both Grace and Chingy, both Grace and Aeon222 on that Rona, but now the aggression has kind of changed the tables, at least with Alien XYZ and Pain Sunday pushing a wave against Aeon222, and their focus will be on this Ghost Wing. Yep, they will be backing up.
Wanted to try to make something happen from that, but no dice. Actually checking out the vision, there's so many, like you said, emphasis on the Ghost Wing, not only out from Renegades, but also from Boom Esports here. So it's not like they're allowing Renegades to run rampant with the vision, but I think, again, because Spaghetti does have that early tier 3 vision item, he's going to be able to keep on chugging out the scout camps more so than the side here of Boom Esports, but Boom Esports will try to at least counter that with what they have, and it's doing okay for now. But as this game progresses, if they don't get their own, they might be in trouble in terms of that vision war. Anyways, Chingy will be spawning out Pain Sunday here, and he just gets into the embracing of Renegades. Say goodbye, good night, sweet prince. Alien here is going to be spotting them out as they take his healing treant. And, well, that's it for that.
Yep, and as we are actually focusing, another fight may just be happening. Chingy goes into the afterbirth.
Wow, so good. They don't stop the fight, don't stop fighting, don't stop clashing. They're just in. Uni gonna coming in from the mid as well, trying to push this wave, and Chingy once again. Oh my goodness, can get that one. Intervention. Spaghetti there just to hold his head for a little bit. Does survive. Spaghetti goes in. No stun connection anymore. Chingy waiting for that afterburn possibility here. He's looking for it. He smashes it. Not enough distance. One more shot. He actually. But Spaghetti goes in. Smashes it. Nope. Stun connection coming out from Baby. And he might get. That was close. Maybe could have been a double kill, but triple for Baby.
Yeah, but that wouldn't quite be an upset at all, because Aeon now full health, going to push down this bottom tier, the mid tier turret, and on top of that, our focus have been on the mid tier, or on the mid and bot side, and we are forgetting about Tessa Boy, who is in this top lane scoring himself a double kill, and on top of that, just able to push down to the second turret very, very soon. Oh, Solar Storm comes through, clipping Tessa Boy 98 on the front side, but he will be able to make it off safely.
Well, he might be the only one to get away from this safely, because battering into the face of this Celeste. She tried to go Solar Storm, but I think Uni was like spotted him out and then got some pretty sweet auto attacks right in there. He's gonna be porting back into base, but as that's happening, check at the bottom side of the river. It's gonna be Ghost Wing here being taken already. Well, at least not that early. 11 minutes into the game by RNG. Not really contested here as they kind of hit it to the top, maybe to give some support against Tessa Boy, but it's just a little too late. It's gonna be the buff for RNG, and they can actually keep going for maybe mid or even the bot.
Yep, definitely. I mean, Renegades at this point in time sitting on 37.8k comparing to 31.2. Definitely looking very strong. First Ghost Wing taken, and they are, and maybe just looking for the first or the team fight after this Ghost Wing buff. Alien XYZ as well. It's 3v2, 2v4. I don't think Renegades really want to look for this fight, but Aeon222 may be getting caught up.
Aeon's not going to be the one to actually split push right now for Renegades. That task falls into the hands of Tessa Boy, and he has built up a CP power Idris into this one. More damage, more auto attacks from him to the mid lane. Oh, spin to win once again. It's Beyblade time, going in aggressive. Oh, he actually absorbed the whole front of that Celeste ultimate. What can you do? 5-man stack coming in from the side of Silver, Blue Esports here, rather here. But there you go. The usage on that ultimate from Uni actually chips him down very low.
Just look at Tessa Boy with the top push already into the armory of Boom Esports, and they need to address that really soon.
Ah, man. Burst of Judgment there from Uni, pretty damn good. He's not going to be taken out, but like you said, man, 4v5 worked so well for Renegades. Tessa Boy just got full reign on the top lane from basic tier 2, tier 3. Not really too much was said by Boom Esports, and now they're going to be going into a 3v1 situation. Tessa Boy, you know what? He's done playing pusher. He's gonna go in, get some kills. He gets the one onto the Lyra. Could follow through onto Alien here. He wants some, you know. He's gonna try to get some, but too much poke will come out, and he might go down. A little bit of fancy footworks. Can he find Alien Boy in the midst of it all? Yes. Down. Ion Cannon from Niels will actually miss by an inch, and Chingy right here. Look at him, Chingy just going in aggressive. Tesla Boy still looking for an angle. Does he have an ultimate? No. 70 seconds off of it, and Niels might be able to punish him. Oh, Niels! Oh, my voice is going higher and higher here as all clutches of heals and kills are just going into the hands of, well, Renegades.
Yeah, very, very good play from Tesla Boy there. Just able to go into the chase and just leaving the battlefield. I mean, scarred, of course, but with a slither of health. Definitely very well played. Tesla Boy finding Niels. Niels may be in a very uncomfortable position right now. Will be able to just bugger off at this point, but we are seeing so much split pushing at this point, and Boom ID just not quite had the solution to address anything just yet. Uni, while that was happening, Uni actually managed to take down the first tier, or rather second tier turret in this mid lane.
Pain Sunday activating the gauntlet. Not sure why he did that. Nobody actually dove side of Renegades. A little bit of the nice sidesteps there for Chingy, actually dodging the stun, but still, it's gonna be, well, Renegades not stopping. Aeon did not go for the split push, but now he will, and he's just gonna be, well, putting the Pain Sunny to the meat grinder, jumps right in, and he is just gonna be putting his attention on that armory. Top one has gone down, bottom one will go down as well, and Tezza Boy is having the activates the flask, gets the shields, and he is just going to town, mowing them down, and it seems like it's gonna be game number 1 here for Renegades. Oh, a couple of more auto attacks. They actually just want to get the ace, and now they get the base.
Ace and the base, definitely very well played coming out from Renegades over here. Scoring that, I mean, that game was just so weird for me to just watch and spectate. Only reason being because Tazza Boy was just left alone the entire time, able to just run rampant and be a tyrant on that top lane.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, oh.
Now go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So, I mean, that was just crazy again for at least a bit of an advantage here, but, you know, let's break it down even further. We're just gonna give it to I Request a Duel and Minimitis, so you lovely, handsome boys, take it away.
Thank you, Azurai and Luxuria. That was a fantastic game from Renegades. They won basically just from split pushing. Tezza Boy got 11-0. He was uncontested and just got all of the top lane turrets and the armory, and then came back towards the fight.
Yeah, well, as Luxuria said, Tezza Boy really just such a menace in that game, and you reiterated that point. I think in general, it was kind of expected that Renegades really looking to put on a top performance here. Even in these show matches for 5v5, they want to really try their best, and it really shows through, and that they can really be the best for this game mode. Once again, a very confident and clear victory there. And I would say there were some moments that it did look like there could be an opportunity for a comeback, but overall it was very much a Renegades game.
Yeah, it was all about the map awareness that Renegades had. The reason why Spaghetti rushed the vision items, the Super Scout 2000 and Flare Loader were his first items that he picked up. The reason why he did that was so that his teammates would know exactly where the enemy were, because they had the vision control. They had so many more cams. They had flares to try and catch out where the enemy cams were, and that allowed Tezza Boy, allowed Aeon to split push down the lanes, knowing exactly where everyone was and knowing how far they could go, how much they could get before they're going to get themselves in a little bit of trouble. And it was just not responded to by Boom Esports. They kept fighting. They kept being about 3 versus 4 or 4 versus 3 in the middle of the lane, and just let Tezza Boy push. And then once they responded to that, they let Aeon push down the bot lane. It's really hard to combat against if you're not sure where you're meant to be in the map. But yeah, that map awareness, noticing that, okay, our lane is missing in the top lane, that means it's probably been taken. They're probably split pushing there. We should send someone up. It's something that everyone's going to have to learn.
Yeah, well, that's definitely something to notice at the start of the game when you could see Spaghetti was on that grace, and then to not be on a carry role, but still to play the role they were playing quite well by getting that vision that is so important throughout the game. I think that also it might go a bit unnoticed at times, but I think it definitely helped out the team in having that map control.
Yeah, because unlike 3v3 where you know all the vision is done by the captain, in 5v5 the vision is done evenly by everyone. But in this game, perhaps Spaghetti was putting down much more than he might have been given credit for. And also the flare loader, if you have one and your opponents don't, it's such a good item. Because if you see them putting a cam down, use your flare instead of wasting one of your own cams. You can pop it, you can possibly pop 2 or 3 cams if they are within the vicinity of 1 flare, and so that is so strong if you can, because it just gives you a vision lead by having a 300 gold item. So it's great if you get it and they don't, but if both teams get it, it kind of negates that advantage because both teams can just pop each other's scout cams.
Yep. Well, there's the thing. You have to decide if you see the enemy team with that flare loader. Are you going to go get it yourself so you can really negate that advantage from them? And I think it definitely is worth it in that sense. But then it's always a question, are you going to sell that item into the late game if need be for another utility slot, or keeping it around? Because I think it's always a useful item personally, and the only reason you might take it out is for maybe something like an Echo to get more cooldown or such, if you're really pushing for the win and you know the enemy base is open and exposed.
Yeah, for old captain builds, it would always be boots, 4 items, and flares. You'd get 5 flares, so you know where they are. That's what was necessary. Now with scout cams, that's not as necessary, but it still does make sense to have a flare loader in your inventory in the late game, so that you can walk around the jungle, you can be together, and if you think there's quite a high chance they're going to be in this bush, pop a flare out. You don't have to waste a cam, or if no one has cams, you're more likely to have a flare to be able to put down on there. So that does make a lot of sense to maybe try and keep the flare loader all the way to late game. So I would be expecting Boom Esports to maybe pick one up themselves in this game. We are going to have to find out as we are loading into Sovereign's Rise for the second game between Renegades and Boom Esports ID. So, casting this game, we're going to hand it over to Azurai and Luxuria once again.
And we are back. So, you think that, Boom Esports from that game 1, I would say, maybe tunnel vision of objectives might have more, I guess, might adapt into the second game? You think, Luxuria? Okay. So, for the meantime, guys, for you who are just...
my bad. I'm back.
There you go. I missed you, man. How are you?
I was talking right now, just now, but I had it remotely muted. So my bad there. But for me, I really hope the Boom Esports would learn from the previous game and try to just address the threat that the split pushing is in 5v5. Because in 5v5, you may have a ton of kills, but the objective game is so much more stronger right now as compared to when it's 3v3. So, and the vision as well. The desk mentioned vision earlier on and how important it is now that everyone has got a sort of vision, or rather scout cams in their pocket.
Yeah, and I think that's gonna be more focused upon now, or rather by Boom Esports, because Spain Sunday was able to buy the Scout Tuft, but Renegades won't actually go for that one. Maybe they're just gonna go for maybe dominance in the lane, because right now top lane it's gonna be Alien on that Rona to go down right off the bat. Jin was able to get the weapon Treant buff and help Aeon spot him out, take him down, and get that first blood.
Yep. There have been word around that Castro may not do as well in 5v5, but the games that I've been playing, whenever I have a Castro on my team, it's quite easy, because as Castro, all you really want to do is push. I mean, you have great pushing potential, and on top of that, your burst in this early game as Castro is just insane. But of course, the side of Boom Esports, they have something to respond to that. They have what about Baptiste? Oh, a gank in the mid lane.
Wow, did Baby actually get one shot by the turret? That was pretty crazy. Chingy's damage is spiking off of the roof here. I think it is thanks to that, again, take on the weapon treant really helps him out. And from top, mid, look at that. He's going to transition to the bottom lane, and nobody has... To that information, he goes down, and 3 kills going to the hands of Renegade.
Yeah, that was just so funny to watch because, you know, usually when I play Glaive, right? Or rather when you see a lot of junglers when they play, what they do is they just want to get their items for the early game, and then after which they go in for the ganks after they've completed an item or two. And we see this very, very obviously from the other games that we've casted, but not so much from Renegades. Renegades, they are so very proactive in this map. Not only they can't go for the split pushing tactic, if not then Chingy more often than not plays such a big part into the team comps. Yes, they have Kahlua on this Batiste, which can on paper try to counter the gangs coming out from Chingy only because of that Ordain, but it's not working out so far just yet. But Aeon 222 in a very dangerous position, Kahlua just on his tail.
Won't follow through there, and for the better part of a minute, Chingy has been actually waiting here on the gold treant side of Boom Esports, and I thought he was actually just gonna wait to maybe go for a gank, you know, just like appear outright out of nowhere and basically John Cena mid. But it seems like he just wanted to go for the gold treant, get the XP, get that gold, and maybe how do you say this, like come back the XP and gold that he lost from just waiting and rotating for his team, which is a nice, I guess a tactic for him. But top lane wise, Aeon 222 finally falls to Batiste, and that's that for now.
Whoa, Chingy actually rotated back into Boom ID jungle to try secure that weapon tree, and he plays a scout cam there, but you know, Pain Sunday with his scout cam will be able to just, you know, detect that and get it away. Hopefully just deterring Chingy from ever coming back. Chingy once again going for the Spell Sword build. Although we saw a change in Spell Sword in this particular patch, 2.12, but even then we are constantly seeing a lot of players just go for that, you know, double, triple Spell Sword like I mentioned earlier on, and it proves to be working because of the cooldown on those afterburns and your gang potential coming out as a glaive in this large and vast map.
Yeah, it just like gives him still so much damage to work with. And aside from that, like going away from that, we haven't talked about this, but I just like to see this. Spaghetti is actually back on his Idris Kahlua. Oh no, he afterburned the wrong ching. I don't know if it was actually a misclick or he was slightly out of range of the click there of Chingy, but still, yeah.
Yeah, he after the burn the minion, so the minion do not get close to him. But even then, had he actually hit that and connected those that afterburn, he'll definitely be able to just, you know, pick up Batiste right there, Alien XYZ. Though on the chase onto Chingy, I don't think you want to do that just yet. Afterburn still on cooldown. They will be vying for that healing camp, but Chingy will be able to get it.
Even though there's a good chunk of damage coming out from Alien here, he'll be able to survive. Bottom lane wise though, Niels as well as Pain Sunday will against Yuri, but is on that Samuel. Samuel's I think one of the best heroes right now to just put on a solo lane, but let's not look at that. Let's look at the mid lane. Tezaboy's gonna do quite a bit of damage here, but it's just all fine and dandy as Chingy's gonna be coming in to once again claim or lay waste to this Batiste and even transition on the end. There is a scout that will be spotting him out, but I don't think anybody can deal with him for the meantime as Spaghetti is pressuring mid.
Yep, Spaghetti just, or rather, I want to talk about Uni actually. When you pointed him out, Samuel is definitely one of the better heroes in 5v5. Only reason, because, you know, he has incredible sustain. Every 6 seconds, his basic attack just heals him all the way up. On top of that, the energy as well. But talking about that, Uni goes incredibly low and will be taken down by Pain Sunday on that Adagio. But Samuel, in his kit, every 6 seconds he gets healed from his Corrupted Genius, and on top of that, with that Crystal Buff, Crystal Cam, he actually gets more healing on, you know, just on top of his every 6 seconds.
Ooh, Aeon was able to get shut down once again on that top without the help of Chingy anymore. I think Alien as well as Batiste here can actually, or rather Clue on the Batiste, will be able to catch him off more so than not. Spaghetti left into a 3v1. Oh, push back though, but he's going to be able to make some damage happen. Actually even dodge out the Versus Judgment from Pain Sunday right there. And all is going to be dandy. There's a voice right here, gives him the shield, goes aggressive, goes in with auto attacks, actually deals some damage right now. I'm trying to run away from Spaghetti. Oh my goodness, he's just going to be able to twirl around. And Pain Sunday, one more attack could give it to him, but nice timing once again from Tezza the boy. And he's just going to be maybe the man to actually give us life for Spaghetti right here. But Spaghetti's not going to say he's over for it. And he's still going through aggressive as can be. Spotted out by the scout camp. Trying to run away. Uses the movement speed boost on that riverside. Throws out the chakram, hoping for a last hit. But it's not really going to happen. Still survives. One more auto attack. What is happening here? Where are the other members of RNG? They're coming in. Maybe to give him some support. But he finally gets taken down. Oh my goodness. That is basically like the try of the Great Escape, but it's not going to be too great, mate.
Well, Tezza the boy got stunned out by that Ordain when he was about to land that gauntlet and thus unable to make Tezza the man. I don't know what he just said earlier on, but I guess it makes sense in my head to actually say that Kahlua, or rather that Pain Sunday on that dojo, was really chasing down that of Spaghetti, not quite actually forgetting the fact that split pushing is one of the things that RNG just does so well against Aeon 222 in a very dangerous position and will be taken down by II Baby.
Ghost Swing in the bottom lane though, being taken by Jewel. And this is not the RNG that we have seen on that game number 1. No vision, all kills, all highlight plays, and objectives are actually quite like, I mean, they're not even, but you can see now that the Boom Esports are actually able to get some turrets in their pocket. Versus Judgment activated by Pain Sunday right there does provide a little bit of zoning potential, and they get themselves the one shot down onto Chingy, looking for a second one here onto Tezza boy. And Tezza will actually be tethered in by that Ordain. No escape, no surrender, but wait, maybe a little bit of mercy as he drops down a gauntlet for the zone.
Yeah, for the zone, but it might not be enough just yet. Looking at the top side, you have Aeon 222 going up against XYZ. I don't think, Renegades is playing so differently as compared to that of the first game. But I think it is just down to, Renegades at this point in time really want to focus on those team fights, and after which, transition those kills into turrets. Uni now incredibly low. Incredibly low indeed, but does get the shield from Tezza boy to once again fight for the duration of this duel, this bout. And Kahlua, oh my goodness, he actually ate one of the Malices and Verdicts and got down very low. Last auto attack coming out from Uni right there shuts him down. And when all of is said and done, Renegade still a little bit on top here with around 200 gold and even more on the turret department. There will be the Hellfire Brew blasted here by Baby, but it's not going to do too much as Tezza boy was the recipient of that ultimate. Now, 4v4 does ensue onto the mid lane rather, and Spaghetti gets out with a pretty sick use on that ultimate of his. And they'll be able to get away, well, not scot-free, but still all alive. Yeah, oh my goodness. Oh, Big Red Baton comes through, clipping Tezza boy, but not enough just yet to take him down. And we saw earlier on, Chingy actually tried to go in to pick up that Alien XYZ, but it wasn't enough. Oh, maybe just after burning into the wrong places now.
Like the ultimate boss that he is, showing up Dance Revolution power of his. Left, right, up and down, man.
How old are you, Asura? Just how old are you?
People call me. People tell that I'm older than that I should be, because like I have like all of these references.
Yeah.
Don't make sense to my age, but anyways, there's more aggression in the top lane, and Aeon showing his strength. Oh, nice block on that Ardent ultimate. But Aeon 1v1 against the Jewel and his Behemoth, and you not be able to win. Yeti will actually be able to get that last hit. Oh, Tezza boy 2v1, actually swimming in the AoE of Alien there, and he's not to take a breather and actually get out. So 2 kills for Boom Esports right there.
Boom Esports definitely looking very strong at this point. You know, sitting at 38.3 thousand over 35. But of course, another kill picked up by Uni in that top side onto Niles. And yet, Aeon coming back to pick up that Yeti you were mentioning earlier on. So, you know, turret-wise, they are about even with, you know, pretty even pushing power coming out from both teams right now. But even then, team fight-wise, a lot of times just Boom Esports is coming out on top. Only reason being because Pain Sunday and that zoning property of that burst of judgment. But I just spoke too fast to overhead of myself, and Aeon 222 able to pick up one kill, or rather Kahlua for himself.
What's going to happen now as the second Ghost Wing of the game has appeared? The Sovereign's Rise, it's going to be started here by Renegades. Pain Sunday knows what's up, and he is just going to put down the flare. Check them out. Who's going to get the last hit? Alien. Oh, wait. Oh, he actually steals it. He's going to get it. Uses the ultimate as well. Pain Sunday is going to be starting up aggressive here for the side of Boom Esports. They got the shield. They're going to be going aggressive. Nice use on that afterbird to push back Alien, but still the main force here of Renegades is in a very bad spot. Idris has gone down, and Uni could actually follow through. Aeon still pretty healthy, putting out the damage with the casual shots, but still with that shield, they're able to dominate Renegades. And my goodness, how are they able to steal that? Tezaboy is not going to be able to. Maybe he's gonna be diving in, but yeah, it's not gonna work. Yeah.
I was hoping it was Pain Sunday that took it, but ultimately it was Niels with one basic attack or a Thunderstrike that actually got that. So impressive players coming out from Niels right there. Although we did see Chingy with very impressive rotations in that early game, just going in from lane to lane, top to mid to bot to gank, and that early 3 kills for Renegades definitely did pay off for the side, or for Renegades at least. But at this late game, the teamfight potential coming up from Renegades, it's there, but a lot of their heroes wants to single out, right? Like single out one of them, pick out, and then kill, and then move on to the next one, especially if you have Chingy on the fold. As for Aeon 222, he really just wants to split push. Chingy may be in a very dangerous position right now. Flask may just help him.
Well, they're gonna try to get the last hit on the Black. Steal after steal after steal. This is just basically thievery right here, as it seems like Renegades will be able to smile a little bit after that one, or reclaim their lost pride from that steal coming out from Boom Esports. Neil's gonna be trying to give a little bit of support here, as Baby is. Chingy's so aggressive, he doesn't even care that the Halcyon missiles will actually lock onto him and connect a little bit of the shots. And Black Claw will be, well, as I say before, Kraken will be starting her stealth. Now it's going to be Black Claw in the spotlight, spewing flames in the mid.
Yeah, Black Claw definitely pushing down very strong.
Oh, Aeon! Ooh, that was close.
That was very, very close. A little too close for comfort, but now all 5 members of Renegades trying to push in are not exactly very healthy, but Black Claw still have got some health left, and they are still very relentless with this push.
They're gonna try to push them back here, and well, Renegades will have to follow, as Black Claw has already lost his life, and he's gonna be responding in a little bit later. Shutdown onto Chingy here, though, as they found him. I think he was trying to maybe get the camp right there, but he does get punished. And now looking to the bot, Uni does not have any more support from his bottom tier 1, and it seems like how many of this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 members of Boom Esports will be collapsing onto him. He goes down, and this 1v1 in top lane, Baby versus Aeon. Are we gonna see it? He might go for it. He's gonna go aggressive. Doesn't connect the first shot, so maybe he's just gonna back away. Ooh, moly! He actually eats the Hellfire Brew and goes down. Whoa.
This Hellfire Brew coming up from this CP Ringo.
He has an echo. Okay.
It is hurting, and it is dealing out a lot and a ton of damage. Ghostwing captured once again by Boom Esports. They are definitely looking very, very strong right now. Tezaboy in a very dangerous position, going up against Kahlua and Niels on that duel.
And Tezaboy is going to be in a bad spot. Actually, Did Arden steal it? Oh.
Wait, did Arden actually take that?
No, how? He has no damage. Wait, I'm checking. He has no damage. How did he steal that? Unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah, impressive plays coming out from Arden, but now there's this push coming out from Boom Esports in retaliation. Ooh, that fearsome shade was actually blocked out. One shot, one kill, not quite hitting Niels there, but Kalua getting incredibly low. Hellfire Brew once again.
Hellfire Brew connecting on Spaghetti, putting him down for very low HP, and losing a little bit of his mind right there. Actually steps into the big red button of Jewel. He's gonna pay with his life, and Baby here is gonna be going aggressive, but Spaghetti will get that killie, and no, Baby will survive with a little bit of HP. Pain Sunny gonna try to use that Burst of Judgment for the zone once again, and extra damage, and Spaghetti still surviving. Alien will be in the front lines, going aggressive onto Tessa Boy, goes in with the leap, follows him through. One more auto attack might be enough, and he gets that here. Gold Treant will follow as well. And into the bottom lane, Niels versus Chingy. I don't think Chingy can actually win that duel, so Renegades in a tight spot.
Renegades is in a tight spot, but just looking at the gold, it's 18 minutes into game, and I want to say this is the longest game Asteroid that have ever cast. Right? What do you think? I mean, it's pretty much even right now. A lot of the heroes on this fold have kind of completed all the items they kind of need. It's 18 minutes in already, and it's just down to team fights. If team fight wise, we have Kalua with that fearsome shake, with the Ordain, and Pain Sunday with the zone, with the Verse of Judgment. And if Verse of Judgment actually hits anyone coming out from on Renegades, it will hurt a bunch. And on top of that as well, I Baby with that Hellfire Brew, oh, that is just a ton of damage with that Echo as well. Once again.
Oh wow, they actually trapped him inside the gauntlet here, so maybe even through these Echo items, double Hellfire Brew, double Fearsome Shake, it might not be enough, as it was a good start from the side of Renegade. Spin to win from Alien, but who is he spinning against? Nobody, and that's gonna be an ace here for the side of Renegades. Are they gonna just push through? Because that mid, that Vein Crystal is exposed, ready to pop, ready to get exploded, and it seems like they're just gonna go for the GG push.
Well, they can definitely go for this GG push. The Crystal will try to defend itself, but I don't think it will be enough at all. Gold Swing landed Black Claw as well, but that doesn't matter whatsoever, because we do see now Renegades taking both game. Of course, this not as convincingly as the first, but even then, good game, well played.
I'm just gonna let the analyst deal with this. But before that, a little bit of question for them. What do you guys think happened on that last clash that allowed Renegades to win? So, Minimiter and Arcus Jewel, you guys take it away.
Thank you, Azurai and Luxury, for casting that final game, and it was close. We thought Renegades might have taken a defeat in the end to Boom Esports ID, but really it was just Renegades being together. They know how to team fight so well. They're such a strong team together that really their just mechanical skill came out in that last fight.
Well,
may want to yourself. There we go.
So yeah, it's just so up in the end of that match that I could go. I still much go in my head because that was very unexpected from what I thought would happen there. Boom Esports putting up such a great fight against Renegades, and as you said, I really thought they were going to be able to take it. To answer Asurai's question, I think that in the end, it was Spaghetti was left alone. He is able to get down 3 targets on his own, get that triple kill. The rest of the team just brawling it out. And as you said, Renegades are great, have a lot of experience in those situations. And in 5v5, they seem to have enough experience for themselves to handle the team fights. And it just took that one team fight that they needed to finish out the game. But really, there were a lot of key moments in this match that it looked like Boom Esports could have taken the win. So to start with, there was when the first Ghost Wing was actually taken by Jewel at 9 minutes in, and they were behind in objectives, but they had the lead in kills. And from there, you could see Silver Boom, or Boom Esports, my bad, start to bounce back and push back. And then there was where I thought Renegades would be getting the second Ghost Wing, and Jewel got the steal over the wall with the big red button. So big shout out to Niles there for playing great on that Jewel, as well as the rest of the team on Silver. Going with that, you did have, I think that this point where it looked like Renegades were getting the advantage, and they came back with the Black Claw, and they broke the base, but they didn't get that armory, and I think that's so crucial as to why the side of Boom Esports prolonged that for as long as they did, but they definitely put up a valiant effort, a great fight, and it was an exciting match to watch.
Yeah, I definitely think that it would have been a much better idea for Renegades to kill themselves for the armory, have at least one or two heroes, so Xingyi comes to mind on the glaive, go in, take the armory down, and just die for it. But if you get that armory, it's so important, because it let Boom Esports ID just be able to be wherever they wanted in the map. They didn't have to worry about mid lane being pushed in because the armory was still up. So that was really helpful for them and let the game go a lot longer than it could have, But I also think that the fact that Boom Esports managed to get the first turret, they got a kill on Uni in the bot lane, Ringo rotated down, great rotation as 3 to kill the Samuel. Then they got the turret. They didn't just get the kill and go, great, now we go and pressure another lane. They pushed the wave up, got the turret, and that was so important for them because it gave them the slight gold lead, and then they got the Ghost Wing, they got the first dragon, the first turret, and so that was really good of Boom Esports to be the first team to take something away from Renegades. In all the other games, Renegades didn't lose a turret, didn't lose a dragon, and they only lost some kills. So that was really impressive from Boom.
Yeah, definitely. I was quite impressed myself, and for that, Boom Esports coming into today's matches, especially that second match, really showed us that Boom have what it takes to take a win away. They were so close if they had won that last team fight. I believe Black Claw might have even been back up again, and it was right next to the pit, although Renegades didn't seem to need that. They just pushed through for the win, and yeah, it really could have gone either way.
Yeah, it really was a fantastic game, but in the end, Renegades do take the series 2-0, so they are unbeaten as of right now. And another team that is Impunity, and that is going to be the next game. Impunity going up against Elite, who you already saw play against Bren Esports. That is going to be our next game. But for that, we're going to head to a break. So don't go anywhere. We'll see you soon.
Sovereign's Rise is home to two terrifying dragons, Blackclaw and Ghostwing. Ghostwing arrives early in the match. When she's about to land, a circle fills on the minimap, indicating that she will arrive soon on Sovereign's Rise. If she is defeated in battle, the team will earn her favor and be granted a powerful buff that provides a regenerating barrier, health, and energy when out of combat. This gives the team a huge advantage in fights, so make sure to group up and engage the enemy to make the best use of the buff that Ghostwing grants. Blackclaw arrives later in the game. When he is about to land, a circle fills on the minimap, indicating that his descent is imminent. Blackclaw's swipes slice through nearby heroes, and his fire breath roasts anyone who comes too close. The team that manages to defeat Blackclaw in battle gains his loyalty, causing him to rampage down the middle lane, attacking structures and enemies standing in his way. You can either escort Blackclaw down the lane to help pave a way to the enemy base, or use him as a distraction and focus on the two side lanes. Making use of the two dragons is absolutely crucial in Sovereign's Rise. You should understand what they do and how to best utilize their gifts if you want to achieve victory. Good luck and see you on the Rise! You can change a hero's appearance and experience their alternate fates with skins. Skins can be purchased with ice in the market, won from chests, or you can craft them. To craft a skin, you must discover that skin's blueprint and collect enough essence to unlock it. Crafting costs vary based on the skin's rarity. Blueprints will be rewarded for completing quests. If you find a blueprint that you don't need, you can destroy it to collect a bunch of essence. Duplicate blueprints are automatically destroyed. Duplicate skins received from chests will transform into opals, which can be used to buy special edition skins in the market. That's it! You're well on your way to Skintimidation. On Sovereign's Rise, the Vein Crystal is equipped with its own defenses and fights back against enemies who approach it. Its first attack launches a salvo of missiles that locks onto heroes, damaging and slowing them, while its second attack fires a line of explosions that damages and stuns heroes standing in its way. The crystal is also surrounded by shields. As long as all 3 shields remain, the crystal is impervious to damage. However, destroying the armories that surround the Vein Crystal removes the shields, making the crystal susceptible to attack. Armories are new structures surrounding the Vein Crystals in Sovereign's Rise. They are responsible for powering the Vein Crystal's defenses. When an enemy armory is destroyed, it grants your allied minions in its respective lane a boost, giving them more damage against enemy minions and structures, and reducing the damage they take from heroes. Additionally, every armory that is destroyed strips its Vein Crystal of some of its shielding, making it vulnerable to attack. Targeting the armories makes it easier to push into the enemy base and claim a victory. The jungle in Sovereign's Rise is home to a whole new set of terrifying monsters with powerful game-changing effects. The Gold Treant is a big jungle monster that grants a large amount of gold when killed. It is best to tackle it with an ally, since both heroes will be given a substantial amount of gold. The Weapon Treant is a special jungle monster that grants a temporary buff to the hero who lands the killing blow. This buff increases all weapon damage that the hero deals and adds a slow to their basic attacks. If the buffed hero is killed, a red orb drops onto the battlefield, granting the buff to the next hero who walks across it. The Crystal Treant is a special jungle monster that grants a temporary buff to the hero who lands the killing blow. This buff increases all crystal damage that the hero deals and also heals the hero for a portion of that damage. If the buffed hero is killed, a blue orb drops onto the battlefield, granting the buff to the next hero who walks across it. Understanding the jungle's inhabitants and what they have to offer can give you the edge you need to achieve victory. See you on the Rise!
Powered by the highest performance game engine on mobile, leveraging years of experience building the largest international competitive mobile esport, harnessing extraordinary community anticipation. This February, Super Evil Megacorp will unleash the category-defining 5v5 battle arena for mobile. The first and only true 5v5 MOBA on the mobile platform, featuring graphics that put the copycats to shame, rendered at a smooth, flawless 120 frames per second. A simple-to-start, highly accessible experience that matches or outperforms PC and console counterparts in every way, with ultra-precise, intuitive touch controls that make a MOBA feel like magic. Nothing diluted, nothing dumbed down, delivering through original and creative hero design, level design, item design, and objective design, the immense depth, skill, and complexity that a legitimate 5v5 MOBA should offer. Outplay and outthink your opponent like no other game. Superior gameplay and graphics, the most accurate and responsive controls, deep, original fantasy storytelling, and unparalleled technical excellence with the platform-leading proprietary game engine and the highest frame rates. Super Evil Megacorp's Vainglory 5v5 sets the new bar for mobile gaming. Never settle for the lesser evil.
Hello, ladies and gents. Welcome back to the Vainglory show matches. We're here for the final game of the weekend. My name is Minimata, and joining me, I've got IoQuest Jill.
Hello, and back once again. And we have seen some amazing 5v5 show matches today. I cannot lie about that.
Yeah, there's been some awesome games, even though the scoreline might have been in favour of Renegades in the second one. It was certainly not a clean sweep in terms of the gameplay. Awesome matches to watch, and we've seen Elite 8 play one game already against Bren Esports. They took that 1-1. Now it's Impunity up against Elite 8. Impunity won 2-0 yesterday, so they'll be feeling quite confident. And Elite 8 are definitely going to see if they can at least take one game off Impunity, or maybe try and take it 2-0. But it's definitely going to be another close game to watch this one.
Yeah, I think you can't count any of the teams out at this point. We rarely were looking just at Impunity and Renegades the other day, to be honest, but it's been a different story coming into to today's matches, and even in that last one you saw just how close it was between Boom Esports and Renegades, who were in a way considered the top 5v5 team. They still managed to win it out, keeping their flawless victory status of 2-0-2-0, and we'll see if Impunity are able to do the same in this next matchup.
Yeah, definitely. I think Impunity are a strong team. They're going to be feeling really good, which is important. And they, similarly to Renegades, they know about map awareness, they know about objective control, and they will push down lanes if you are not ready for it. If you're not ready, you're not watching the top lane, then they're going to push down tier 2, maybe even tier 3. And if you're Tezza Boy, you're going to push down the armory as well, because that's apparently a thing that you can do now. So yeah, I think that's something that both teams need to be ready for. They should be ready for, and should know that if they don't have the vision control, and one thing to look at is if you look in your lane and you don't see anything, that means your minions are probably dead. And so that means that they're probably going to be pushing up. So if you look at your map and think there should be minions there and there aren't, that's a great indication before you get any kind of vision that you need to be rotating up towards that lane to try and stop the push or counter push.
Yep. Well, as you said, it's about objective taking. We've talked about this so many times before, and it's just because it's so crucial to having a chance at winning, and it's why we saw in that second match between Renegades and Boom Esports that Boom Esports were actually able to trade out turrets and have the advantage in kills. So they were doing well in team fights, they were doing well at taking objectives, and it just came down to that end fight that Renegades happened to win out and then go for there. They got that ace off the back of it as well, which I think is the most important part. No one was up to defend the base, and they were just able to push him freely. So going into the Impunity and Elite 8 matchup, I'm wondering whether we're going to see Elite 8 be able to keep up to Impunity standards of map rotations and just objective control.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I'm sure everyone is looking forward to this game. Two people that are certainly looking forward to this game is our casters. So we're going to bring it back to Azurai and Riku. Take it away.
We'll take it away from you guys and bring it back later on as when game 1 finish in this best of, like you said, this is a highly anticipated matchup between Elite 8 and Impunity. But again, my name is Azurai. Of course, here with me now is
Riku. Yes, sirree. Super duper excited to be here again for, the game 3 matches, Impunity versus Elite 8. And at this point, Elite 8 look really, really good. They're banking on the split push mechanics, applying pressure all over the map, and it worked out pretty well in the first game of the series for tonight. But again, Impunity is going to bring a whole new level against this matchup. So I'm looking forward to what kind of strats they're going to be applying for at the Sovereign's Rise, rather.
Indeed, we have begun. I'm curious to see if it's gonna be Elite 8 gonna go for the aggression, because as you can see, it's actually uber aggressive in level 1 engagement, such as the Grace and this Glaive. So maybe they're gonna be doing an early invade, or maybe they're gonna go for something like a 2-man ganking squad, which is actually not too bad because we've seen it before happen from Renegades. They've done it with Spaghetti and Chingy, and they're gonna be doing it now with Now and Redemption.
Exactly. So early game vision, super important. and that would mean, investing resources out throughout the phases of the game at the riverside. But it looks like no one would try to, try that risky play and just stay in their own side of the jungle. But again, vision is very, very important in this in 5v5 at this point. But meanwhile, we see, Uranophobia and Han Jaegers together in the mid side of the map. Meanwhile, we see Gwen and Batiste at the bot side against Samuel. So there's going to be more different or varying sides of pressure, if you will. So that's three members rather on the bot side of the map.
I'm actually curious to how this Koshka will play out from DefQ, because I have played matches wherein like Koshka just basically not really incinerate, but makes her opponents, into mincemeat when she actually just rotates to a lane. And maybe this is one of the linchpins that Impunity will be using in this game to maybe have an upper hand against Elite 8. But Elite 8, on the other hand, I'm kind of curious to see how they're going to be using this Grace Glaive composition. Basically, the G squared squad or duo in the top lane. Kosh is going to be joining in onto the fight. They can actually through now right here, and he's in a very bad spot. But Redemption will give some saving to this Grace.
Man, the turnaround of the baits, and it turns out that Elite 8 is the one that wins that exchange. So Rona, another threat, especially during the later phases of the game. No wonder they, Elite 8 or Impunity rather would rather have, and apply pressure at the top side of the map. And meanwhile, we see a good wave pushing towards the top side. Rona will be back, but meanwhile, Han Jaegers is pretty low at this point. So Cote d'Ivoire will back away and respect the numbers advantage coming from the side of Elite 8.
Enemy Save Me forced to actually maybe go for the port back here. But this is something that we haven't really talked about, is that these, let's say, quote-unquote solo laners actually have, if you're... Oh, there's going to be a kill in the top. Okay, so... Yeah, they just get Glaive right there. But again, just something that I wanted to talk about is like this solo laner right here, Enemy Save Me. In their position where they are, they're basically on an island, right? But if they actually time it correctly, they can maybe get the healing treant. But as I say that, Samuel did not actually go for it. Kind of interesting, why not? And he gets punished and pays with his life. Gets last hit by Blue City there, and well, they get the kill.
There's so many. It's like they're really, really pushing towards this lane from top side to bot. For the top side, it's Elite 8 rather, who's really in a hurry. Hold. DefQ, amazingly done here. Doesn't even need Cote d'Ivoire's help. But going back to what I've said, they're really top side of the map. They're really rushing to pushing that turret, mainly because they see Rona as a threat, and in response to that, they see Samuel as a threat on the bot side of the map, and that's the reason why, Impunity is investing resources there as well, and letting the Rona, take care of that two-man squad at the top side of the map. Anime Save Me is facing Blue City, just a couple of hits, good. Ooh. Clutch flask there, Anime Save Me, saved.
He's able to, survive for a little bit, but he's got to go back to his lane, and that's just gonna leave him in a bit of a pickle here, because as a solo laner, if you're not able to survive with these, let's say, sustainable heroes, you're gonna obviously on XP as well as CS. So right now you can check it out. Rona 22 to Enemy Save Me with the 19, but at least he doesn't get punished as heavily, and there's going to be a little bit of rotation here into the bottom lane. Truffles will be spotted out, and Redemption gets the last shot. And just a little bit of a I guess like tip to you guys. You pronounce, if I'm not mistaken, like we do, I think this is what they told me as well. You pronounce the guy as Truffles and the girl as Truffies. So like if it's on a girl character, it's Truffies, and on a guy, it's Truffles.
That's actually a pretty interesting fact. Anyway, Truffles will bump into the Glaive. Han Jaegers already highest side after pushing him away, and Death from Above will not hit at all. But meanwhile, Healing Treant actually being taken away. Elite 8 gets that one.
Truffies did not survive that one. Or rather, did survive that one, so he's going to be able to fight for another day. And are they going to be able to get this top tier 1? Looks like that's going to be a no, but bottom lane, Anime Save Me has such heaps of trouble. The Blue City is just basically walking in onto him. Defq's waiting. He's got the ultimate primed and ready. Uranophobia is going to be caught out possibly here, but Defq decides to go for the other one, blasts him apart to oblivion. Actually, the other way around. My bad on the names of the Truffles. Anyways, they get the kill. So that's going to be Anime Save Me, Down and About, and bottom tier 1 as well.
Okay, so the contrasting strategy, I mean, they have similar strategy, it's just that it's happening in two opposite sides of the lane. So pressure-wise, Impunity really wants to pressure the top side of the map, and meanwhile for Elite 8, and for Elite 8, they really want to pressure the bottom side of the map, but for them, it's working really well. It gives them a lot of room to roam around, and for Impunity here, Rona is still intact, his lane is still intact, Samuel is down, so at this point, they really want to try to make it even at this point. So as you can see in your screens, they're already fighting.
And already fighting indeed. Defq, does he have the ultimate in about 8 seconds? So Urano gotta try to run away, but that Ordain might have sealed his fate. Gonna go actually try to dip back into the fight as Hunjagers will be holding his hand, uses the sigil for the heals, and well, lives to fight for another day. Although top lane wise though, thought there was gonna be a little bit of an engagement there, but no dice. They actually might go Truffles, looking for a little bit of that opening as Defq right in the near vicinity. And, ooh, going in aggressive. Now just pops his boots and he'll be able to skedaddle on his way out of there.
You gotta love Impunity's wave management. They always make sure that the bottom lane is shoved, and as well as the top side of the map not being overextended on their side. So which means at this point they have a lot of room to roll around, a lot of space, and at this point Redemption actually tries to join the fight as Trophies is super low.
How does now have that much damage? He's gonna be he's building up onto this CP type of Grace with the Shatterglass already in his arms. He was a little bit too close to the meat grinder and gets shredded by Impunity right then and there. And finally, Impunity, after all of their hard work, claims the top tier 1, still holding on to their own as well. Truffles, or Trophies, actually in a 1v1 situation. And Hunjagers is, well, at least like 3 levels above him, but again, this is just the laner absorbing some XP in the mid, or rather a ganker just absorbing XP in the mid.
This is what's nice about what Impunity is doing right now. They make sure that everything is guarded. So when they try to pressure a certain area in the map, they make sure that, you know, Elite 8 cannot take advantage or take something away. They always have all the lanes guarded, they always have vision up, and that's the reason why Elite 8 is having a slightly difficult time in finding the right, you know, trades. And in the end, they always have to give in and dance with the tempo of what Impunity has been doing for the past few minutes. And because of this, Impunity is always 2 steps ahead, and they can manage to take advantage of that sort of play and, you know, adjust and probably pull back whenever, you know, it's needed.
And checking this out, well, like you said, whenever they need to make something happen, they're actually going to be mid, and they spot Uranophobia. He sacrificed his life to give a little bit of that escape for Anime Save Me, and well, they're not gonna be. Well, they're actually doing quite a bit of good damage coming out from the Gwen here. Oh, Hunjagers as well is in a very tight spot. Uses the intervention, but it's just a little too late for the Grace. Grace might actually go down. Nice use on the flash, but the damage is real. Activates the arcane passage there just for the escape, but it actually is a passage to destruction, as Impunity also uses that to get 3 kills against Elite 8 here. From that 5-man squad of theirs still alive, they're going to be transitioning to the Ghost Wing.
Impunity's rotations and decision making is really impressive, especially when it comes to forcing fights that the enemy is not prepared for. The moment that they sense that Grace and the rest of the members coming from Elite 8 is rotating to mid to respond to their threat, they took the turret, they backed away, they were fine. I was a little bit scared for them, but at that point, you saw, okay, we can take a fight. Let's not take a fight through the lane. Let's try to take them at choke points in the jungle and try to bait them out. And that's what happened. That's why Impunity at this point is just very calculated, very by the book, and it's working out for them. And Elite 8 is just having a difficult time finding the right pace that they need. And at this point, with the objectives and the waves that are not in their favor, it's really difficult for them to actually try to get back in the game. But again, it is just Ghostwing on the table. And a little bit later, at the 15-minute mark, there is going to be a Black Claw that compared, or rather, if you look at the series before, it's always that Black Claw last fight that turns things around if you do manage to, you know, delay the snowball of some sort.
Yeah, it's a really big objective that you can, you know, have a bit more, how do you say this, a bit more edge on the fight if you get that extra shield. And it looks like we're having some issues with our game here.
Double kill.
Yeah, so going back to what we were talking about earlier, Impunity is just, I'm amazed. I am loving how they make decisions, because aside from decision making in terms of, can we take this fight, can we just probably back away, take an objective, it's fine. They obviously know their strengths. They obviously know what the right call is. And Elite 8, aside from that, the wave management is also something that I see where Impunity is, you know, strong at. They really know how to shove their waves first, and that's probably the time that they're going to be distracted and we're going to move somewhere else and confuse them. So they're forcing Elite 8 to roam around the map, and that's something that I'm really impressed about.
Alright, so we're having a little bit of issues here, guys. Mini, as while we try to fix it.
Well, that is a kill going over to Redemption on the Glaive. Impunity did manage to push down the tier 3 turret in the mid lane. And I think I hear our Jewel coming alongside me.
Yes, hopefully this feed is clear enough, as I can see by breaking down. There's going to be the Glaive falling, and Truffy's trying to dive in deep alongside Truffless, and they're going to be able to keep Anime Save Me away for now, but you can see that they're chasing down the Lyra. It might be going in a bit too deep, as now joining in the fight. There's going to be the Into the Fray out, and they managed to get out in time, although whether Truffless will escape is the question, and all the meanwhile, Ghostwing has landed on the Rise.
Yeah, back in. We are having a significant gold lead for Impunity, but Deku could be going in a bit of trouble. It's very low, but Cordoval's going to come and give him a helping hand. This could be dead now. Yep, now is very dead. Yep, he's gone.
Yeah, they tried to use the Divine Intervention there, but it wasn't quite enough. And you can see Gwen, Blue City on this Gwen just cleaning up. There's going to be the Aces high. It gets blocked out, but Koshka's on the chase. They get the kill, and they shut down that Samuel. Redemption, the only one left standing for Elite 8. And all the hope might be lost now, as it's 19-6 at this point in the game. But as we said, as long as you have the vision, you might be able to make a miraculous comeback, might be able to steal away either the Ghostwing or the Black Claw. So we'll just have to see what Elite 8 can do about this, as we're just coming up to 14 minutes 30 in this game.
Yeah, the top lane is pushing in favour of Elite 8. So there's a chance they would get that turret down, but I don't think that it's really much going to happen, because Ghostwing has been captured. Black Claw is up, but no one's going to go for it quite yet. Elite 8 just looking around to see if anything's happening. Yeah, now that Impunity are being smart, they're not going straight for Black Claw. Trophies is pushing the lane in the top lane, so that when they take the Black Claw, then they actually have the advantage that they can get the top turret, they can get the bottom turret, and if they lose a fight around it, they don't immediately lose their own objective. So really smart plays from Impunity.
Yep, and we're going to see both teams positioning themselves, getting ready for a potential Black Claw fight, or a team fight that could end up winning the game for Impunity or giving Elite 8 the chance they need to come back from this. And there's going to be the Aces High game blocked out, and they are going to actually need to back off from that one. Elite 8 looking like they're losing members here as Glaive, the first one to fall. There's going to be the Cat and Frenzy in, but gets blocked by Sky. Rona picking up another kill, and the train just keeps going. Impunity non-stop pushing into the base, kill after kill. They find the Sky, they find the Grace. Anime save me, the last one standing, and it's up to him to save the base, save the game, but it doesn't look like there's much he can do as he gets dived on. The Ace, all 5 members still left standing for Impunity, and what a way to finish out Game 2 with such a performance. Or Game 1, I should say.
Yeah, Game 1, Impunity, very commanding victory. In the end, a 15k gold lead in favour. And yeah, they did push for the GG win. I think that the Crystal Power Grace on now, it was a very interesting idea. I like to see Weapon Grace personally. I think that's a better idea than Crystal in most cases. But obviously the Crystal Grace was going for Divine Intervention, massive heals. But it just didn't work out. They didn't fight together for that Grace to come through and come be a strong hero. They were mainly being caught out one at a time, and they were allowed Impunity to just burst them down, which Impunity did extremely well.
Yeah, I think that Grace pickup, as you mentioned, to go CP, maybe it would just be more beneficial to have it as a pickup, because when it came to the team comp they were going up against, there was the Rona, the Koshka, the Gwen. You could even consider Ringo just all very hard targets to stick to, and they have the movement speed they need, the abilities they need to get out of Grace's range a lot of the time, especially when you're playing on the back foot in a lot of those fights. You don't really have the opportunity to chase down and lock anyone down alongside your team, because your team is pretty much running away from the fight.
Yeah, there was the moment where Samuel blocked, I believe it was the Hellfire Brew and the Yummy at the same time, but it just didn't do anything for him because he got bursted down immediately after that block was off cooldown, because they have so much damage. So Impunity did play extremely well, and they really took advantage of when they got those kills. They got the objectives, they got the turrets, which is the most important bit, because if you can get that first line of turrets, not only do you get the map pressure, you also get a significant gold lead. Each turret is almost 1,000 gold in your favour, and so that's so important for them to get the turrets, because then it becomes a lot easier game. It's much more open for you, much more confined for your enemy, and you also need less vision to know where they are, because you know they're not going to be in our jungle. They're going to kill themselves if they try and steal our jungle away. So you don't need to defend that. You can just push your line of vision forward to their jungle and their side of the river.
Yeah, well, that's why I said Elite 8 really at the end there. It ended all too quickly in a sense, but it just shows how quickly you can end in 5v5 with a team fight in what would be considered the mid-game of... actually, it's hard to say. It's still 15 minutes in, which is so early to see all this action happening. But as you saw, they had so much map control, and it was up to Elite 8. They really had to push for that vision on Black Claw, which they managed to do. The only problem then was to take the team fight, which they all got picked off one by one, and eventually leading Impunity back into their base. They were already at the crystal, so they didn't see any point in turning around, just decide to end it, and they got the ace, all members of the team alive. As you said, Impunity, that's really just, they proved themselves so well in that match, and a great performance overall.
Yeah, looking back at it for Elite 8, once they were all 5 at the Black Claw, they shouldn't have tried to back off towards their own base, because honestly your base doesn't have that much defense. If you don't have your mid lane turret and then you go through the mid lane, there's only a Vein Crystal with two or three shots and a stun. That's not a lot of defense compared to what 2 turrets in 3v3 would be. If you back off between 2 turrets in 3 versus 3, nobody is going to dive that unless they are massively ahead. Whereas in 5v5, if you're back into your Vein Crystal, that's kind of not enough. You have to get into your base or behind a line of turrets, and then they can't dive you as easily. So I think it would have made much more sense for Elite 8 to go in for a fight, go forwards, try and make it so that if they lose the fight, they don't instantly lose the game. They force Impunity to actually take a Black Claw and push with it. And another bonus of that is if you're fighting together, you have Grace with that damage reduction. The Holy Shield damage reduction has had its range increased so that Grace can heal more nearby allies with her A skill. So I think that would have made a lot more sense for Elite 8, and that might have swung the fight in their favour.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there. And on that point of Grace, it kind of goes to what we talked about earlier of Grace were being a lot more utilized in the fights if they were able to really lock down the enemy team instead of being the ones who had to run away with their tails stuck behind their legs. And with that, I think that it is Elite 8 have the opportunity. We've seen a lot of these teams, the first game they might lose out, but the second game, whether they win it or not, a lot of these teams do put up a better fight. They seem to have that not advantage, I should say, but they're able to go even in taking objectives. I think is you learn the play style of the enemy team, and as we're still new in these Vainglory 5v5 show matches, these teams are still learning what the other teams are going to do a lot of the time. And Impunity, well, you should be expecting it. They're going to go for your turrets.
Yeah, I agree that getting an advantage is obviously important, but it's not as important as making sure that you don't put yourself at a disadvantage. Make sure that if they're pushing a lane, you push another lane, because getting a kill lead, getting a slight gold lead isn't as important as getting that first turret, getting the map pressure but of taking that first line of turrets down. So I really think Elite 8 know what's going to happen. They know that the lanes are going to be pressured. The jungle camps, they can just take it whenever. You don't have to take your jungle as soon as it spawns, because you know Impunity are unlikely to be trying to invade that. If you can have your jungler ganking a lane, and then once you get a kill, push that turret down to half health, get another kill, take the turret down to 0. That would be a much better use of their time. And then kind of when lanes are even, you port home to get items. That might make sense to rotate through your jungle and pick up the gold.
Yep. So with that, we will have to see what Elite 8 decide to do in this next match. Also, in terms of draft, it was the one time that, because you did bring up the fact of the CP Grace, it was the one time I was kind of questioning the draft for a certain team. Prior to that, I always thought that a lot of the drafting was quite even. And overall, I would say that Elite 8 have done decent drafting, but there were some decisions that could be made better. It kind of goes back to yesterday when we also talked about once you've got your draft, it doesn't mean it's set in stone. You don't have to put those heroes in whichever lanes you decided to put them in, because it's a reactionary kind of game. That's what the Sovereign's Rise really is. If you want to be able to win, it is very much reactionary to what is going on the map, and being able to react to where the pressure is being applied, and to then counter that with your own pressure, and that in the sense is split pushing.
Yeah, I really like how in 5 versus 5 you have to get very far out of the meta to find something that doesn't work, as we saw with the CP Grace. Because every other draft, every other hero, you think, yeah, that can work pretty well. You can lane with that, you can lane with Reza, you can try and see if that will work out depending on the matchup. But so you have to kind of make a big mistake. Well, not a mistake, but you have to go for a very risky play in order to have something that just doesn't work very well and doesn't do any damage. So I think that's really good for a lot of teams and a lot of players that don't have a very large hero pool. It helps them because they can kind of pick their heroes, and there are multiple heroes they can pick that will all work in the same situation. So that's really important. I definitely agree that you need to be able to switch around your lanes. You can't just have okay, we pick Samuel, he's going top lane, and that's it. You're not going to swap that. You need to pick Samuel and then go, okay, we can flex him. He might go top, he might go mid, he might even go into the jungle, depending on what the matchup is and depending on what enemy comp's got. But we are going to be transitioning into Azurai and Riku for this final game. Hopefully, the game works fine.
Yep, thank you so much. Sorry for that one, guys. We can finish this out. I believe this is the last game of the night or day, depending on where you are, guys. So.
Exactly. And earlier we saw how dominant Impunity is in terms of rotations and team fighting earlier. They got the early lead, they got the objectives. The first turret destroyed was actually at the bot side of the map, and that is the reason why they have been, they had more control over at the bot side, and they had more room to rotate and, try to make the aggressive plays. And because of that, Elite 8 just had had to run around and try to adjust on what Impunity was planning at that time. So we'll see what kind of adjustments Elite 8 has for this match, as it is definitely, you know, they had to learn a lot from the previous match. So we'll see how they're going to bring, you know, the Celeste on the table, this Gwen on the table, as well as the Churnwalker.
I'm also kind of curious, like, aside from all heroes that you just you know, denoted, there's Quart of War playing on a Finn. I think this is the first time we're going to be seeing Finn actually, you know, strut his stuff here on Sovereign. Not really sure how effective he's going to be, because Sovereign's Rise is a bigger, you know, map, but I think, like, if you can basically force a core your opponents, like, maybe you can get like a 5-man hook or something. Anyways, or rather, you can just, like, maybe get that one-man hook and then follow up on your opponents. He has good amounts of CCs, and looking at his at the other side, the only one who has some really good mobility on Elite 8s is actually possibly only Catherine and Black Feather. So if Cordoval on this Finn can actually find his, you know, his bearings and have a good position, he can actually stick to the Gwen and give lots of damage onto the Celeste. Blue City, though, in a pretty bad spot, but he actually turns the tables with the help from Court of War, Quibble, as well as the Smash. Going in, Creation is going to be, well, creating for Elite 8, gets the kill, and Court of War is soon to follow, but he just actually shuts it down. DefQ gonna be going into a 3v2 situation. Good damage coming in for Court of War, but DefQ might have actually gone a little bit too deep into the bottom, and he will just find the pit with his friend right there. 3 straight kills for Elite 8.
Uh-oh. And it also is the Gwen who's getting the kills as well. 3-0, good start for Elite 8. Not exactly what Impunity has hoped for. They thought that maybe perhaps we'd get a 1-1 exchange, maybe, but then it did not happen for that point of the game. There's just too much damage, as well as range damage coming from the side of Elite 8 on that bot side encounter. So it was a very, very huge risk to play without the Ringo on the equation. But meanwhile, let's, you know, focus there. And may save me. Meanwhile, there is a person that died, which is the Ringo eliminating the Churnwalker, so that makes it 3-1 at this point of the game. Not able to spot out what happened exactly, but at least they managed to gain a consolation prize from that encounter.
True, that able to get that kill. Jaeger's going to be taking himself the Crystal Tree in here. Going to be boosting up a little bit of his power in the mid, up against the sky. Weezy has been farming quite alright here, if you can see his itemization. Or rather, his CS, right? Wait, hold that thought. Court of War is dangerously low. Redemption finds him. Good use on that boots, and he will walk. Rather, he won't allow him to walk. Now, Anime Save Me in a 2v1 situation gets slammed into. No, that's up. And now Anime Save Me in a very bad spot. Flask will be used, but it's just too many big dudes in the top, and he will go down.
Exactly. Nice capitalization on how there's so much pressure on the bot side coming from Elite 8. You know what? We're going to respond by going up top instead, as we know that Gwen is just too much to handle at this point. So what Impunity is doing at the bottom lane is that they're going to be trying to just defend, try to clear out the waves, be a little bit more patient, farm as much as they can, so that eventually perhaps they can, you know, out-damage the Gwen when they try to decide to engage. But meanwhile, great take. First turret of the game comes from Impunity, but they're falling and collapsing on towards this Black Feather. He died.
That leap into the Black Feather's embracing arm. Good damage overall. And like you said, actually that was a really quick top tier 1 take here from the side of Impunity, allowing them to get more control on the top side area and put Black Feather in a bad situation to actually look for if he overstands in that top area. Going to the bot as well, Redemption will be able to win out that duel against this Ringo. More action ensues as Court of War and the DefQ spots out Hun Jaegers. A Celeste that doesn't have any mobility, doesn't have any speed, does have the damage though. Creation will be joining in onto the fight, but Queasy is right here holding, and Hun Jaegers with the heals and Redemption uses the aces high and takes down the 1, looks for the second, but Quarterball will not be denied, looks for his own kill, and he actually might be able to escape. You gotta remember that the trait of this Fid is not to get any crowd control, only slowed, so he can't be disabled, but with that low amount of HP, he will go down.
That was a very, very good engage coming from the side of Elite 8. They are definitely taking advantage of their early game damage, and that is the reason why Impunity might have a little bit of a hard time at this point. Nicely done stun from Creation. Let's see if there's going to be any follow-up whatsoever, or are they going to be focusing on the structures which they have their eyes on? Hellfire Brew already being used. Hunjaeger's deeply, very low. DefQ manages to finish the kill.
And he's looking to follow up even more onto Uranophobia. And just a little bit of trivia for you guys. This was, I think, told to me by Minimiter. He said that Uranophobia is the fear of the sky. Well, he's got a fear of the ground right now, man. 'Cause Impunity is making it a little bit of hell for him.
Exactly. Sky on the Queasy at this point. Top lane is pressured highly by Impunity, and that is the reason why they're, trying to look for fights, trying to take as much as they can. DefQ after Bird. Is that going to be enough?
Oh my goodness! Oh, like I thought the healing tree and root could actually save DefQ there, but then range was enough for Gwen to spawn him out.
Exactly. Good adjustment again from Impunity. So they're going to continue this pressure at the top side of the map, which means Black Feather is always forced to defend and may save me on this Black Feather. Again, forced to clear waves, forced to just respond to that, and the rest of the members from Impunity of their 4-man squad is just going to be a-okay. Again, they really have to respect still the damage coming from Elite 8's composition, but Creation is going to join the fight as well.
Great blast from Creation, from Trophies right there. Just a little bit of an insight here to what what I Request a Duel was talking about a while ago, which is, this 5v5 mode in Vainglory revolves around being able to get counter objectives to what your opponent gets. And you can see the kill score right here is 9 to 8. That's not really a lot, but gold-wise, 24,000, 26,000. This is Impunity getting the turrets aside from the kills against Elite 8. There's going to be a little bit of a fight here. They're going to go aggressive onto Trophies, but you know what? He's going to slam Jamma into the top lane with the help from Quarterball. Doesn't have level 6 just yet, so no use on the Force of Core. Urano could be in a very bad spot as Trophies has joined, has really committed to this barrage. Will get a little bit of the damage from the Celeste, but Trophies is still surviving. How is he doing this? He actually still gets a kill before he goes down. And that's going to be Quarterball trying to run away here. And mid lane wise, it's going to be the mid tier 1, but Redemption is doing a lot of work just to keep this alive.
Impunity is doing the distraction method, just trying to take away objectives while they're deep in the jungle. DefQ, really brave, might suffer, but no, he's still alive. They managed to score a kill as they become aggressive on towards that engagement. But again, at least they chunked down the mid-tier turret in exchange of, someone dying from that overextension in the jungle.
Oh my goodness. Great. The ultimate great bait mate. They look onto DefQ and now they just say boo-hoo. They go down to, well, trying to get them. I mean, they get the kill onto Quarterball, but that was like 2 for the price of 1.
Exactly. So they managed to try to bait a lot in because of the amount of HP that they have, and that is Ghost Wing already at the bot side of the map spawning, which would mean the more there's so much value now being given to a shoved lane at the top side of the map. So I can imagine that Black Feather would have to time his waves properly, make sure that that Ghost Wing side is properly placed with scout camps, just to make sure that, when they have the wave, management not on their side, then maybe Elite 8 or Impunity rather would try to get a sneaky Ghost Wing for their side to empower them more with their team fights, which is obviously one of their strengths. And again, they're
starting once again, like you said, Gwen goes immediately to the hands of DefQ. About it, this is a very dive-centric composition coming out from Impunity. They got themselves, DefQ on the glaive, and then lots of follow-up to be able to stick to their opponents, with this Finn actually able to just pull in people that he doesn't want or doesn't get damage on. We see using the artillery above, trying to at least deal some damage from the sidelines. Anime Save Me in a one against Rough Bees. Might not be able to win that duel. Sidesteps nicely onto the on point, and Urano could be in Worlds of Hurt. 31 seconds to that Force Accord. And maybe are they gonna go for a Black Claw here? No, he's not yet spawned, or rather, it's, maybe the vision control. Whoa, look at the damage. 1v1. Ooh, run away. Trying to run away. 8 slap. Oh, he's gonna go for it. He's going. He could go all the way, and well, that's gonna be a no.
Asteroid, it's like you were casting a boxing match or something. But going, what Impunity was trying to do, they're obviously having a hard time finding this sieging, trying to chip down objectives as much as they can because they have the Celeste to clear down the waves. Hold that thought, the fight is starting.
DefQ goes down once more. That is, I believe, ganker for the Churnwalker, and maybe the dust has finally settled here. Gwen, rotate to the bottom lane. Now this is gonna buy some items on the shop.
Exactly. So what we were, talking about earlier was they're having a oopsie daisy. That's Black Feather dying. So again, this leaves top side so open, and bottom lane, that bottom portion of the map for them to, move around for Impunity side. So they're slowly chipping down objectives, which is the best thing, especially if they don't have that much wave clear. They're looking for a fight, they're looking for a flank. We'll see if they're brave enough to pursue this or try to cut them down of resources, but I guess a fight will do, Asterai.
It's gonna be a fight, and it's just gonna be to the delight here of Impunity as they take down the Churnwalker once again. He just respawned. Where is the humanity and all of that? And looking into the middle portion of the map here, it's still a tier 1 standing after all of this bombardment coming in from Impunity. Han Jaegers has been adamant at keeping this alive for the meantime.
Exactly, but the problem is they're investing, the Celeste on the wave clear here for the mid lane, but the rest of the side lanes are not very healthy, and as it seeps towards the armories or the turret near the armories, then it's going to be a huge problem, especially when Black Claw enters into the equation. So Impunity is very patient, obviously. They're fine with distracting Celeste. They're fine with just doing a little dance here at the riverside or in the mid lane. So at this point, it's all about Elite 8 trying to make these proactive plays and try to not allow Impunity to make rotations, because in the end, what they're doing is that they cannot make the moves themselves, as Impunity is just making the plays.
Ooh, Forced Accord not gonna be going their Accord, as that was blocked perfectly by Black Feather. Although this is just Impunity showing their strength, showing their advantage against Elite 8, able to actually just force them out of their jungle, and DefQ is just looking for the primal time to actually go aggressive. Slams down onto Urano. Queen to be the front line here as he tries to get some damage happening. Look at that big red button coming out from Trophies. Just really the true big red button. And members stacked up from the side of Elite 8 as they try to do Dance of Demise against their opponent. I don't say if he could go wrap around, but he is spotted out by that scout camp. And DefQ might actually rotate onto him. Members right here, it could have been a really nice spot to actually have engaged from Impunity, but they are taking unnecessary damage and they just back off for now.
Beautiful heliogenesis placement coming from Han Jaegers. You gotta respect the damage, especially at 50 minutes of the game, but they're gonna be getting something. They eliminated the threat that has been a problem for a few minutes now, and Celeste just explodes, and the rest of the members are just so low. Anime Save Me is just run away as the member of Impunity just tries to do a cleanup. Very impressive from Impunity. Patience is a virtue.
Patience is a virtue that might pay off. A Black Claw right here as 3 have gone down 10 seconds before Han Jaegers does come back. And you gotta remember, guys, that before in 3v3 we have the Celeste that can go for the Solar Storm steal. Maybe Han Jaegers can do something. I know there's 5 bodies that can actually absorb that, but maybe he can go for it. But never mind. There's just too much Black Claw taking prowess here from Impunity. There it is. It's a little bit too late, but the gesture was appreciated.
Exactly, and it just shows how Impunity is sticking to their plans and sticking to their strategies. They know that it's working slowly but surely, and eventually they managed to eliminate Han Jaegers, which was the Grand Guardian of the mid lane, and because of that opens up so many objectives, and they have selected Black Claw for it because obviously they do have the power and the damage already enough, but looks like Cordova might be in a little bit too deep here.
Well, he is able to escape. Death Q at from 100 to 50 in about a split second. He goes down. I think there's like another name we could take Black Claw here. Red Ice Black Claw Dragon. That sounds pretty good. And he will. Seems like Elite 8 here is going to be able to take him away before he actually reaches the Tier 3 turret. So that's a little bit of a win in their hands. But like you said, Impunity keep getting objective after objective.
Exactly, and this just makes things harder for Elite 8 to get back into the game. So if the map is just so much in favor of Impunity, one of the reasons why there are comebacks is because they've managed to contest certain objectives on the map. So they do have to wait for Black Claw to respawn again. They have to do, you know, the necessary wave management to actually try to just keep farming up, keep gaining, you know, more vision, more control, regain composure, rather, on this, you know, 17-minute game. So at this point, though, there's death from. See if there's stunned. Nope. Han Jaeger still landing in the zones, landing in the hurt, just to make sure that Impunity doesn't dive all in on towards their squad.
I thought there was going to be an action in the mid, because there's like a 4-man squad here, or a 4-man clump up by Impunity. They were able to get the Ghost Wing. Didn't see when they got that, but it's going to be a buff that they can surely use as they maybe try to siege this mid lane. They're primed and ready for it. Do they have some minion candies feed to these this wave to get it a little bit better? Looks like no, they're just gonna look for the fight, and Redemption goes into the embracing hands of the Ringo. A while ago, it was the Gwen. Now the Ringo's gonna be putting back, you know, what she did to him. A little bit of the revenge plays, Revengers, you know. And Creation gonna go into a little bit deep there. Gets slammed from the death from above, but nope, gonna block that. Bana will get pushed back here because of... Actually, don't know how he was able to get pushed back, but Enemy Saving is going to go aggressive, but he is too much into the thick of it all, and he will not survive that. Bottom lane-wise, it's going to be split push from Depth and Trophies, and they're able to take the bottom tier 2, as well as maybe even transition to this bottom tier.
They're really taking advantage of the numbers game, trying to take as much turrets and they can, try to chip them down, but at this point, DefQ might be a little bit too deep. And good thing, he's far away. Big red button already being used by Truffy. He's being pulled in by Churnwalker. But at this point of the game, there's 10 seconds for Anime Save Me to spawns, but there's so much control already for the map for Impunity on their side. So they really have to just wait for certain objectives. DefQ, super low, doesn't matter. You know, Celeste tried, Han Jaeger's tried.
If he got maybe all of the ticks there from, or all of the ammunition or the bullets from the Solar Storm, he might have actually got. And Creation here, he really that Crystal Treant, but at this point you don't want to give up your life for that objective, because you have yourself a longer respawn timer, meaning that it could even give Impunity here the GG push into the mid, or well, a little bit better, which is to get the Black Claw, but that was beautiful. Cordova, did he have vision? I don't did, but he just YOLO'd it through the wall and gives themselves, basically he netted the hook onto the kill, and he just got so many. 3 kills, could be the 4th, and where is Creation? He is all the way away from his team, and it looks like they might just go for the GG push.
And they, Elite 8 had a good idea of probably making a pick, someone behind from the pack or whatsoever, but Impunity, one step ahead. They probably anticipated that sort of play coming from Elite 8, and they just counterreacted, and because of that, that cost them the game at this point. And meanwhile, they're still finishing a few members coming from Elite 8. That's 5 people collapsing onto the base already, and GGWP.
Yeah, I mean, nothing much can happen there. Catherine, or rather Creation, wanted to go for, the Hail Mary defense, but as a Catherine, you really can't do too much. Maybe if they were low on HP, but Impunity were just on that great high, and they win this one with a 2-0. Even, how you say this, like a comeback against their opponents. So, to further, break this down, take it away, Minimiter and Iric.
Thank you, Azurai and Riku. Wow, Impunity take the series 2-0. Same as Renegades, they are undefeated. They lost one turret, but it wouldn't have been too bad. And yeah, that Finn pull at the end and lovely echo play. But also there was some nice plays during the middle of the game, I guess.
Yeah, some nice plays indeed. I would have to highlight Blue City on that Ringo as the MVP there. I believe went 13, 2, and 8 at one point, getting a triple kill, I think. And yeah, really, it looked like early game. It was Elite 8 were doing well for themselves, and I thought they could have a chance to really push it into late, but then really Impunity started to take control of things. You could see that at 15 minutes in, when Celeste fell, or as Riku called them, the Grand Guardian of the mid lane, they had fallen, and it was true. They fell, and it was a lot easier for Impunity from that point to then go on, push on into the base. They used one Black Claw and then came back at a later time, just before Black Claw and Ghostwing were respawning at the end there, and they managed to take away the mid and bomb turret. And then even at that point, they forced the side of Elite 8. They either had to fight them to contest their objectives, or they were just going to have to defend against a Black Claw and possible Ghostwing buff. So really, they put them in such a dire position, and Impunity themselves were in such a great position, especially with the timing on that one. And it worked out, I guess, better than they could have expected when Finn got that pull over the.
Yeah, speaking of Finn, he really... The first pull that Finn landed on Celeste died, and they won the fight. Impunity won that fight pretty simply. The second pull that Finn landed was when they were trying to push Black Claw. Celeste just bounced away from that. That was not a great pull. But then the third one, over the ball, that was 100% blind, no vision. He just went, hopefully I catch someone, preferably Celeste. And he went, oh, I've got Celeste and nobody else. That is the perfect situation for them to get someone there over the wall. And then they won the fight. So it was pretty simple. If they took out Gwen or Celeste, one of those hard carries, then it was quite simple for Impunity to finish the fight from there and push for the game. I'm quite surprised as to how easily the teams are taking down bases without any dragons. They just get some kills, maybe even get an ace, and then they push down the armories. And with all 5 members on the Vayne, even though it's got a lot of defense, it goes down pretty quickly.
Well, as I said, a key part to that is making sure you get rid of, at the very least, get rid of that initial turret prior to going in for your siege. But you can see that it'd obviously make the job a lot easier if you get the armory down earlier. That is kind of the point where it's like a big win condition. And as you mentioned, these teams can just go in without any dragon support, and they managed to burst down this Vein Crystal. And it was something I believe is either you or Asarai brought up earlier, the fact of, compared to 3v3 bases, it's actually a lot harder to siege in a 3v3 base when those 2 turrets are remaining. You'd have to be a madman or way too ahead in the game to go and dive those last 2 turrets, whereas when you're on 5v5 on Sovereign's Rise, as soon as you get those armories down, not only does the Vein Crystal get weaker, but its only defense is going to be the crystal's AoE damage.
Yeah, I definitely think that it's so important if you can push with Black Claw, and if you can't get the armory, it's kind of a waste, especially late game, because that Black Claw gives them gold, it gives them a chance to regroup together, and the armory is just so important that it's really so worth it to take them down whenever you can. And I think that split pushing, yes, it's good, but I'd much rather get an armory than get 2 side lane turrets, just because as well as the Vayne being weaker, you then have that buffed minion wave that is just constantly going to push down a lane. And as I've said before, it gives you the map pressure and the map awareness to be able to take those dragons. And we've seen quite a lot of dragons being stolen. Someone like a Ghost Wing that's just been started up by one team and then just been stolen by the enemy team pretty simply. Whereas with Kraken, normally teams are a lot better at securing that. So I think this will just come down to practice and knowing when to try and take the Ghost Wing and when you probably should back off and maybe take a team fight instead.
Yeah, well, that's obviously the preferable, I guess, situation, but you could see Impunity, even without the armories being down, they had just broken the base enough that it led them into a situation where it's win-win.
Yeah, definitely. So that is it for today. That's all the games we've got for you. Thank you to all the players for playing. Thank you to my lovely casters alongside me. See you next week. Bye-bye.